What a tip out, babe. This all out, she don't got no shame. Who should I give my love? But should I leave this pain? Yeah, 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. Yeah, what did eyes I really owe? Yeah, 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. She wanna be like me, I wanna be like her, If anyone touch my baby, I'm taking that boy off the earth. Yeah, wiping that boy off the surface. Yeah, spitting on top of his hearse. You think that he in his bad, boy, I turn your skin to a purse. Yeah, turn his ass into a Birkin. Selling it like it's my merch. Got him writing his name in cursive. We putting that boy in verse. We fucking around like nurses. Flying around like birds. Snuggle up with the way they do. If your boys are cursed. What in the chamber I bang? This all out, she don't got no shame. Who should I give my love? But should I leave this pain? Yeah, 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. Yeah, what did eyes I really owe? Yeah, 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. Stand on the top like shoes. Whatever I say they do. And I've been on both sides. I was down there too. They had shit to lose, and I was praying I do. I was praying I would one day. I was praying I do. Brave and take it all in, Yeah, come alive for the city of God, the city of sin. But my peace got lost in tears, I cried, it rolled off of my skin. If they catch me right now, they got no case to put me in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Touch me like Alonso. Whoa, 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 whoa. So far, too far gone.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Gabriel Carbo back at it again. NPC the game at NPC the game. Multi-streaming to the real main channel, Mantra 93. Yeah. That's going to be the main channel for the next 3 months. Gonna build that one up. So sub up to that. I'll put that link in the in the chat. Today's episode, Daycare, the live stream panel. Should be a fun one. Should be a fun one. What's up, Logical Sparks? Good to see you. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning. All y'all on this side of the globe. We're Marty McFlying it. Back to the future. Yeah. Shout out to my great-great-grandpa in the background. You see you, pimp. Yeah, what's really going on? Hit it up the donations. Buy me coffee. Yeah, so we're gonna be going on this this other channel, Mantra 93 channel. Let me put it in. We're actually live streaming from there right now too. Here is the channel. Sub up to this channel. There we go. Yep. So yeah, there's that. By the way, YouTube is an app. It's a social media app for sure. Shout out to Shadow Buddha in the building. Shout out to Shadow Buddha in the building. Yeah. So what are we doing here? What's the lecture at hand? Today's lecture is the parallels between the origins of the daycare system and this panel experience. This is a bit meta today and whatnot, but it's for a reason. You know, daycare is something that some of y'all had to experience, whether you wanted to or not. And the way it's done in particular today is it sets the foundation for a lot of the idiosyncrasies and somewhat weird behavior we see in people. Because that daycare system, it was originally brought into existence during the Industrial Revolution. So parents could have their children looked after while they worked. And it freed up the family, the parents, to take care of their economic survival, right? Because normally in the past, you would have traditionally the mother and the older children raising the younger ones, right? While the father either did some agricultural work, which they would all do actually, or during the beginning of the industrial age, he would go out by himself and work. But as we know now, like, one income isn't enough. But who's going to watch the children, especially the small ones? So this daycare system is interesting because, you know, I had to do that when my mom went back to work after I was born. For a couple of months, I had to do that. Like, psychologically, this daycare system, it introduces infants to structured routines and socialization amongst their peers. and it teaches them, imprints on them, like how they have to share adults, the attention of adults, the caregivers, which can sometimes lead to, let's say, like attachment anxiety and pretty much constant bonding issues, right? FOMO, fear of missing out. You know, it's a real thing. And I thought, and the more I think about it, the more I think about, it resonates with situations that we occur in our everyday lives, particularly, I mean, since we're all here on YouTube, right? That one in particular, it's a big one. You know, what's up, RLM? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, you'd be a good person to talk to. We already had some, kind of opened up the discussion on this in a roundabout way. There's the link right there. You're more than welcome to come up as we riff on this daycare and the parallels to the panel verse, I guess you could say. On the YouTube live streams, us creators and the panelists, we often turn our broadcast into I'm being a little dramatic here though, like digital daycare systems. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that's on our plate out there in the quote unquote real world. I call it squish reality, you know, and some of us, we want to escape difficult realities of our personal lives. And it doesn't have to be so heavy. It can just be like, you know, you're with their you don't even have to be in the field. You know, taking care of your kids all day. Now you get a break because your wife's home or your husband's home to share the load, or you were at work all day dealing with all, you know, everything that work has to be dealt with, or school. And you just want to kick back and soak up the reality, because it's like a reality show, I hear, in the end. What's going on? What's up, Mike? Good to see you. Good evening. Insane Wheels. Yeah. Good old Mike over there, Mike Ball. Great show on news and current events and what's really going on. But yeah. I really do see how this, like, when I looked at the history of daycare and how it started during the Industrial Revolution, the history of it, and then when you think about the psychological aspect of it, it really parallels this modern internet phenomenon we call the digital experience. From the daycare in the beginning, there was a shift from home to institution, right? In that original system of the daycare, it moved the children and the child raising from the private home into the public domain, and our children had to be managed in these spaces, and the drive was an economic necessity, especially for, you know, the parents who needed to have someone to take care of their children and keep them safe, right, while they were working, trying to provide and keep their families safe, right? And then it was a drive for the people that own the daycares too, right? I appreciate the love too, bro. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Yeah, you always wanted to pop up too. We got the link in the chat for sure. We're getting cerebral a little bit here, a little meta, right? Yeah, that origin, the original system, that daycare, moving the child from the private to the public, right? It is kind of, I look at the parallel between the, you know, the live streaming panelists as us as panelists have moved. 'Cause I'm a panelist too, you know, by heart. The panelists have moved from our private struggles, we'll say, and how we used to vent to our friends about it, our social circle, our loved ones, and our personal lives, That has moved into the public digital space because a lot of the offline environments that we're in, that we live in, they feel people feel no one's really available, or even if you do share with somebody, it's kind of unrewarding, right? So I see that shift from home, your home social circle, and your friends, and the squished reality to institution of a live stream, right? A social media platform. That's what YouTube is. And I'm not one of these people that says, like, it's all bad. Like, social media is, the death of everything. No, I mean, if it is, it hoodwinked me, because I think there's good to it. You can make some good connections on a personal level and also business wise too, and maybe on some aspects that we haven't even tapped into that can't be quantified and whatnot. What's going on, Stanley? Good to see you, man. It's getting a little meta. Uh, Daycare, right? This whole thing about the origins of daycare and the live streaming panel, how there's parallels there. I don't think it's much of a stress once you see it laid out. I don't see it really. Yeah. Good to have you, man. Yeah. Having our this thing I've been working with in my mind about structured attention v versus escapism too. Normally I would have been these times I'm online, I probably would have been trying to level up on some educational self-development stuff, reading journals or writing, strategizing plans and spreadsheets, you know. But sometimes it's like I want to tune, like we used to do with the TV, to zone out, turn on the boob tube, right? Now we hit the panel. And then the original system of daycare, it is also, it was kind of cool because it did provide a scheduled environment where children could compete. Not wait, actually it's not a good thing about competing, but I would say it did provide a structure for the children to, like, learn routines and whatnot. But on the back end, and then I guess a negative aspect was they had to also compete for the attention of only a few caregivers, right? Where in fact, if you were with your mom or your dad, I mean, unless you have a huge family, which a lot of people didn't have. Like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We didn't have huge families. I mean, you had the whole attention of your mom or your dad or both of them if you're lucky. But now when you went to the daycare, you had to compete for attention. And I see a parallel with that in this live streaming thing when these YouTube panels, they compete, panelists and chatters compete for the attention of the host sometimes and the chat, right? And because it's a way for the audience to feel validated that, someone's actually paying attention to me for once. You know, and it makes it cool because, like, YouTube, you can just hit the panel, especially if someone's on a schedule, someone of a consistent schedule, you can get that interaction, that parasocial interaction. Rebecca was talking about that RLM parasocial aspect to it. But you can just hit that panel and get that, or turn on the chat and you can get that interaction you need, right? Any moment. What's up, man? What's going on? Blessings, Machine Lives. Good to see you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, the parasocial, one-sided sometimes. The bond between the host and the panelists or the chatters. That's, for some of us, that's been substituted for real bonds that we had with people we know. The thing about the struggles of the daycare, which a lot of people had problems with from the beginning and also now, is that sometimes that deep emotional care and attention that the child gets at home, because it's more of a one-on-one relationship or two-on-one relationship, depending if you have siblings. It's not there with the daycare provider. They got a lot of things on their plate, or they don't even have a connection with you because they're like, yeah, it's not their kid, you know. And in the parallel I see with the live streaming panel is sometimes we go on this on these panels as a form of DIY, do it yourself therapy, right? And it could, and for those who really need it, that DIY therapy could be substituted for real world therapy that you could get from a professional. And there's, you know, which is supposed to be healthy. Usually it's healthier than having some of these superficial digital connections that end up blowing up in your face, and you end up being worse off than you were than before. I guess it goes with a lot of risk comes great reward and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, man, look at this guy, bro. He can't even I don't know why you're here, bro. Like, you're not wanted. Yet you stick around, bro. I mean, I get it, bro. We heard what your friend Junior said about you the other day. Yeah, man, he had to buy you dinner and shit. That's pretty bad. You're hurting, bro. I get it. But yeah, you're not wanted around here. You can leave like a man. You always talk about being a man and whatnot. Leave on your own accord. You know? This guy reminds me about this codependency out there, and people coping. In the original system of daycare, like the child would adapt to daycare by relying heavily on their peers that they were in the group with at the daycare, and that once again that scheduled routine gave them comfort in the sense of identity. Yeah, remember you see some of these groups, they would go out, these kinder care groups, they would go out and they wear the same little t-shirts or vests to so they wouldn't get lost. Of course, they can be spotted, but also too, it kind of like they were clicked up. That was their identity and whatnot. And in these live stream panels, folks get into this trauma bonding to their digital community, aka their YouTube channel that they're always in. And I think they use the constant noise and the drama and interactions of the live stream to block out all the painful realities of their online lives, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right, Stanley. Good to see you. Yeah. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? We need to go to the psych doctor. What up, Chatter King? Yeah, shit, that's on you. Probably wouldn't help. All right, man. Thank you for that, bro. But I wouldn't doubt it, bro. Like, it probably would help, man. I don't know about that couples therapy and all that stuff, but individual one-on-one talking to someone that's a quote unquote professional. Hey, man, you're probably better off doing that than doing this, trying to get therapy out of this. But it's always good to talk to somebody. I mean, a lot of females, for example, will invalidate men from having feelings and say you shouldn't, express yourself, which I don't know. You probably shouldn't so much around certain women and men, but it's good to have some friends that you can talk to, especially if you're a dude, bro. You can talk to them about shit. Like my best friend right here, bro. Shadow Buddha, welcome, bro. Good to have you, man. Good to have you, man. So you think he should, huh, Chatter King? You think they should probably get some help with the coping and whatnot? Yeah, man, this shit's crazy. This, as we call it, the panel verse, right? Some people call it the Boit. It's another sector, or the beef sector, or the Mo 3 sector, The commonality is like most people are using StreamYard. We can't even do that. Shout out to John Galt, the urban landlord. Folks can't even really learn OBS, where you can, you won't have to pay for the StreamYard, and also you can trick it out, and it's free. But now anybody can stream. Just press the button, right? And that's the StreamYard. And these creators get together and these just gossip or react to other internet gossip. And the relationship between the host and the panelists operates like a toxic ecosystem. And rather than like a regular standard moderation the mods be interacting on a way to facilitate some good healthy conversation. The balance between the host and the panelists, that dynamic relies more on the power imbalances and financial manipulation, sometimes even, and once again codependency. The host is basically the puppet master, right? See, that's not I was wondering why I never really see you on the panels, man. So this is Insane Wheels. Mike Boss, the great Mike Boss, said this is why I watch panels. I don't participate then. Yeah, he runs his own show, right? We do our own daycare on ourselves. Stanley sees it. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. The machine lies has seen it for a minute, man. My streaming buddy. This is something that's crazy, like the Puppet Master, right? Remember that movie with the Puppet Master? Those Nazi puppets that were invoked with demonic virile energy. And there was the Puppet Master, the guy that made these puppets, right? And they would attack people and whatnot. Yeah. So the host is like a puppet master, because as a host, we control the digital environment, and we can use technology to dictate the terms of human interaction. Like I can literally like ban people, and I can bring them up here. I can make their voice louder. I can make their voice lower. I can even do it like the real puppet. Like, let's say the puppet is sentient, like a Pinocchio is alive. I can still be controlling them if you want. You can still be controlling them. You can mod god them. You can do all that fun stuff, right? Because the mute and the boot power, right? That's the ultimate authority that the host holds. We can mute a panelist mid-sentence, right? Or I can boot them, kick the baby back down to the waiting room right there, to the nether world, to the basement. And this actually, it's kind of like behaviorist therapy, right? This forces some of the panelists to perform according to the host standards, right? Or they risk losing their spotlight, their precious microphone, right? Their one time where they can shine, because they can't do it in their offline life. Man, sometimes I want to get off the stage, bro. Every class is a spotlight opportunity in the real world for me. I guess that's a good problem to have, though, huh? Because as a teacher, which in a sense, it's kind of like daycare too, because you're teaching children how to conform, not only to learn, but how to be a positive functioning member of society and whatnot, whatever that means, right? It means many things. What's up, Becca? Love you. I'm having a really good morning. Appreciate you. Yeah. Appreciate you. Yeah, controlling the narrative is something that's fun, and we love narratives. Everything's a narrative, right? We've done shows on narrative theory and whatnot. The host can, because the host literally can frame the drama any way I want, any way they want. the host can choose what receipts they use, receipts, you know, what screenshots, what videos, what text messages, what shows on the screen, right? And then if for the untrained mind, the wide open prime time mind, literally, and the host can act as a judge, jury, and executioner all at once in terms of someone's internet reputation, right? It's fascinating. Yeah, fascinating. I'm cooking. We got somebody here, but I'm cooking right now.
Bang, bang, bang.
Shit like that, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that, shit like that.
What up, Neurojack? Sir CIA Neurojack. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
I was wondering if somebody's going to pick up on it.
Yeah. Like CIA in a lotion bottle. Yeah.
What? Say it again.
Like CIA in a lotion bottle. The ego in the lotion bottle. Yeah.
My nigga.
Oh, yeah, yeah. All good.
Hey, what up, Bashir? My nigga, what up, man?
Yeah, blessings.
Chilling, bro. Your boy's cooking tonight, man. I feel it. If you're gonna go meta, you got to do it right, man. This is that daycare. Do you see it? The daycare parallel sometimes in some of the panels.
Yeah, I think the whole daycare scheme kind of goes back to the Montessori program, right? And there's actually a lady named Maria Montessori who was a Fabian socialist, right? Who developed this Montessori program, and obviously, the whole concept in Fabian socialism is that the children need to be handed over to the state.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's nepotism that's based on family and religion, that is sort of the final place that establishes the hierarchical order within society. So you have to uproot this system. You can't just change the economic system. You have to change the cultural and social mores. So
yeah, you're right, and that is a good point because off the top, Maria Montessori, what she did was actually, it seems very empowering what she did with children, like how she kind of focused on children being quote unquote more like self-sufficient, independent. But with that said, you're right. There was a overlay of handing your children over to someone else. In this case, you said like in the broader scheme, the state, which was never really done before, right? Was never really done before. And it's funny because people pay thousands of dollars extra to send their children to Montessori schools rather than kinder care, cookie cutter daycare where they just, 1, 2 + 2 is 4, stupid Barney shit, right? Whereas like Montessori is supposed to be hands-on, and you're artists and all this stuff, but nonetheless, you're still handing your children over to the state. So that's true.
Yeah, I think it closely parallels the old folks' homes.
It's a reverse, right?
Yeah, and sometimes the panels, you get 2 or 3 boomers on the panel, and it's almost reverse. It's like in a you're in a like old folks' home or like a mental asylum, where now you're taking care of the elderly, that don't, that have these old ideologies, that you have to settle, and you have to like. Yeah, they don't understand any nuance in any subject.
Yeah, unless the host gets like draconian on them and like puts them in check. Yeah, those boomers can run away with the narrative of their story, huh? Back in my day, we did this or whatever, whatnot. And he just says,
back in my day.
Yeah. She says Montessori worked with special needs children in the slums of Italy with highly neglected street urchins. I just said eunuchs. No, but she's right though. Like I have a place in my heart for Montessori in the sense of like what she literally taught about. Like I would say, if I had to, not had to, it's a choice. If I was going to send my kid to a daycare, I would love for them to learn some of the things she taught them, because it wasn't like she wasn't doing the arithmetic and all that. It was more like, can you pour yourself a glass of water? Can you get yourself up in the morning if you're an infant? Can you cut vegetables for dinner? Can you dig a hole for a garden? Like that's a lot of the stuff, hands-on stuff that she was teaching. And I think she was amazing with that stuff. But the system, like when we were talking with the machine and neuro, you guys were looking at the big picture of things, zooming out. And the whole concept of having to give away your kids, especially when you don't want to people you don't even know, it's very scary. It could be very, you know what I mean? And it could be damaging. Right. And shout out to Ahimza. Is that
I'll be right back.
is that from that's from Mr. Rogers. That Ahimza, what that Lady Elaine? Lady Elaine, is that her name? She looked like a drunk, huh? Like she was weird, bro, on that show. Yeah. But
and what's the other one's name? The Lamb Chops one. What's the remember that show? Lamb Chop.
Oh yeah, there's Lamb Chops with Carol Carol something like that. Yeah, but Mr. Rogers, this one with the puppet show. He did all the voices.
The puppet show,
because he said that that as a child he was the only child, I don't know, for 9 years or something till his sister came, so he had to entertain himself. So he learned all the the voices and used his imagination, and he was one of my first teachers besides my mom. Mr. Rogers, bro, he's a legend over there from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Mr. Rogers was interesting. Yeah, I watched it a lot, really young, and so it definitely had an impact on me before I can really remember. But I'll never forget, like the first time I saw a real puppet show, and I only saw a few as a kid. But
you were like amazing.
Those were
really good, right?
Well, I thought it was really cool, and a lot of people I noticed a lot of kids didn't like it. I thought it was very interesting. Like it was a very interactive experience in a way. Pretty weird.
It's next level, man. Like I showed this when the Avian was here the other day. In Taiwan, puppets are big, right? The puppet show, their culture. Whenever they have a festival, there's always like a puppet show cart that pulls up. But in Taiwan, they took basically the spirit of Transformers in the 80s and 90s, and they made these elaborate puppet shows with kung fu anime type shit, and epic with the epic stories of the Chinese sagas and whatnot. Yeah, so that's a big deal. So Himza says, I had 2 years of book club on her. She's deep reading, deeper than the Chardin, the Jesuit, right? Dude, I read her book too, from infancy to high school. Her problem is she didn't patent her method. And most schools are ripoff of her methods, not about right. I noticed that even here in Taiwan. Oh, as soon as this LARP, 7 days. Is that LARP? Does that sound like? I don't think.
No, this is a guy from like England
Machine?
Or something.
He has a new name. I like that Gollum in there. Oh yeah.
No. That's not. It's not.
Okay. Yeah. We use these clips. What's the matter, you? Like a radio host for sure, bro. Yeah, we got you.
People be okay, because I know I'm not. As a real nigga with feminine energy, I am not okay with that.
Maybe not that one, but yeah, the system looks scary when they have no idea who's along with them doing what. Yeah, you don't know what the teachers are and whatnot, right? Yeah, there you go. Lamb Chop and Daniel Tiger. And Mr. Roger became Daniel Tiger now. Lady Elaine, yeah, all this stuff. Good. Lady Elaine reminds me of Annabelle. Both were possessed dolls. Lady Elaine is just ugly. Jesus Christ. 33 is your favorite number? Just a Freemason here? Trying to make a day? $1 out of 15 cents. Math and science. Yeah, back to this this daycare, the origins of daycare and whatnot. Yeah, we do control the narrative here, right? And then there's the economy of clout, right? The economy of attention and clout here. That's the currency of the panelverse. It's attention, and it does sometimes create an unbalanced transactional relationship. Like You do something for me, I'll do something for you, right? Or there's people that are just appalling, that get a chance to spew their nonsense just because they give money or something, right? Or because they're a big time supporter of a show, you know. And I think, Nero, do you ever see, like, it seems like there's a segment of hosts who exploit some of their, you know, panel members, kind of like Howard Stern and his Whack Pack, or it almost seems as though some hosts are actively seeking out unstable or controversial, highly emotional panelists, right? Because of their raw outbursts on live stream to get super chats.
I've been accused of farming, like, you know, this kind of stuff, and I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever done it consciously, you know, but definitely, like, I find some of those interactions very highly entertaining. But I think it goes from, in my opinion, is like, is the host conscious of what's happening or not?
Yeah.
Or and do they have any, like, mentality about what could come out of it, or the dangers involved? Or, and I think that's a hard thing to know, because, you know, even as myself, who host a tiny show that nobody watches, right? Like, it is something that you have to think about, like, you know, no, you know what I mean? But, like, relative to, like, some of these large creators or yourself, like, you know, I'm saying, like, it's something that you should be thinking about, I guess. And it's kind of like with your kid. Well, I think it's an analogy that works, right? Like, I saw this guy the other day say something like, should you let your kids watch violent movies and stuff like this, right? And the question is, like, well, what's the purpose behind it, right? Like, if your kid watches it with no guidance or direction, it could be extremely destructive. But if you're teaching them about when to fight for the right reasons or not, you know, it can be very instructive, right? And it's very visceral, and it's something that they're going to have to learn about at some point. So, you know, like, I grew up watching a ton of violent, like, you know, 80s movies, right? I mean, just incredibly violent stuff. And I don't feel that it really, you know, made me a violent person. But it definitely made me very capable of violence. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't think that being capable of, and I think the same way with, like, mental illness or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, can the audience handle what's happening, and can the people on the panel handle what's happening? And that's, unfortunately, that's one of the problems I think that's the hardest about the medium, right? Like, we don't really know who's the audience. We don't really know who we're talking to on the other side, right? So that is a big danger, I think, that we have to learn to appreciate, or we should learn to appreciate. We don't have to, but we probably should.
Well, whereas the producers would use the Nelson rating and focus groups to get a feel for who's watching the show, I guess us as hosts and producers of these shows on YouTube, we could come to our own conclusions by who shows up regularly, right?
Well, oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, but if you get, but, like, imagine if we had, like I saw one of the guys that I used to watch, you know, I mean, I don't want to name anybody, but, you know, the people that I came into this watching, right? And then I saw that, like, when I was watching their show, he might get 100 views at a time, right? Now he's getting 5,000 views, right? Live.
Oh, wow.
That's an incredible number. But my point is that, how could any one person really know all those 5,000 different people and what they're feeling about it? And are they mature enough, or are they getting what you want them to get out of it, or whatever? I mean, you know.
Well, you could. I mean, I'm not even a creator, but I can watch, because I was watching the last few months, not anymore, Sneeko more than any other creator. I wouldn't watch it, like, religiously, but I would watch it more than I watch other streamers. And I noticed his chat in general were a certain type of archetype of a person, like young man, kind of edgelordy, you know, kind of red pillar, into what's trending, but also yearns for some type of conservatism in their life. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, like I think you can kind of get of course you can't know everybody, It's like I can't know everyone in my chat per se, even though it's not that large yet, but I can get a kind of a feel, I would say.
I'll give you an I'll give
if
you
I'm
an
being
example
honest.
I'll give you a personal example of mine, right? Like with the alt right, like when I was watching the alt
Are
right,
you gonna give me a
I got
personal example? Sorry, I'm a little slow with this. So I gotta do something real quick.
yeah, you're good.
Go ahead. Go story time.
Let me give you a personal example, and then you do the little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this little cartoon you have in the back too. It looks like a little like chaos magic star or something.
That's exactly what it is. Justin, Dimitri, and I made it.
Oh, really?
And then
That's pretty cool.
I think we invoked C19 after we made it. Because I'll just tell you this: that little writing you see around them, you can kind of like those lines and stuff. Those are actually the writing of the manuscripts of the Austrian painter. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but go ahead. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, it's funny. Like, really quick, it's funny because I made this like little AI thing about tell me the Gnostic interpretation of the Little Mermaid. So, like, I've had the Little Mermaid on my brain for the last month, and so maybe eventually I'll like turn it into like a little thing. But I thought it was just funny. But so the personal story about the alt right, right? So when I was watching the alt right, I got a lot of jokes that were about these very controversial topics. But to me, it was kind of like have you ever seen Sarah Silverman?
Of course, Jimmy
so
Gilmore's
she says like, yeah. So when she says like all these like extremely blasphemous things about Christians, right? So when I was watching that as a kid,
she said,
she
said if Jesus Christ came back, she'd kill him again.
Okay.
She said crazy stuff. But like when I was younger, I was a Christian watching it, right? Or I'd watch like the roast stuff where they're like talking mad crap about people. I kind of saw it somewhat like that, where like, yes, there's truth in it, and yes, all this, but it was also kind of like, it's kind of like cathartic, like I said, right? Like it's like you get all this comedy, and you get to like crap talk each other, and then out of that there comes like a resolution. That's kind of how I saw it. I was like, maybe this will like heal the divide, right? It's just like watching Dave Chappelle, right? But then I saw it take a turn, and these people. And that's when, but I saw it take a turn where people kind of took these things that I thought were a positive thing, right? And they turned it into something that obviously turned into very negative. And I think that's what happened with Dave Chappelle. I mean, I remember him very clearly on one of his interviews, and I disagreed with him at the time, but in retrospect, I understand what he's saying, where he's like, he would do this joke that was really vicious, about, the N-word or whatever. And he's like, and then you'd see people laughing at the joke, and he would think, are they laughing because it's funny, or are they laughing because they really have hate in their heart, right? And I think that's a question that you have to really ask yourself, and you don't know the answer to that, right? So I think that's kind of
maybe because of mix. I think I'm laughing at both. I want to keep it 100. Because sometimes the reason why some race jokes are funny because it's fucking. Maybe I'm fuck it. I'll speak my heart. Being horrible to someone is actually quite funny because it's absurd. So I can see why people like race jokes, right? Because it's making fun of something that someone really doesn't have control over, and that's why kind of they hit hard. But with his question is true though, I guess. But in the end. You can ask that question, but as an artist, that's up to the people to decide. That's what I say. Never ask. You shouldn't really ask a painter like, what does it mean you're painting?
Well, Tom said this the other day because it relates back to the thing we're talking about, which is daycare, right? He said that, education in general will kind of like serve the middle, right? And so women have like a middle level of intelligence. They have a middle level of, agreeableness, right? Like they may hate each other, but they don't let that spill over into the classroom often, right? You see what I mean? So generally speaking, education will cater to women and cater to their needs. And again, I'm not saying 100% buy the argument, but I'm saying like in general, right? And I think that's kind of the way that a lot of society is starting to manifest, right? Where it's gonna like
Yeah.
kind of go to the middle. The people that are okay with the status quo, it'll cater to them. So like, for a period of time, the comedy would be transgressive and all this because there was a market for it, right? But then as society's gotten more about becoming a daycare for adults, right? For
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, right? It's kind of necessary for them to cater to the people that are not really, uh, you know, interested in rocking the boat, right? Because society's now been structured in a certain way where it wants to coddle people, or it has to coddle people, or whatever. So I think that's part of what's going on, I would say.
What do you think about that machine? I see what he's talking about, though. What are you saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of the online space, right? That we were talking about. I mean, it's totally manufactured, right? Like, for example, there's three examples I'll give.
Mhm.
Right, one is the actual manufactured drama content that's on the interwebs, right? That is based on paying the trolls and the other people to show up to the show, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes this is collaboration between the shows, right? So there's a certain level where the drama will be totally, manufactured beforehand, right? Or, and a second way is that there's actual production companies and actual, production apps, right, that assist people with creating the content, right? And sometimes these even basically give you subjects to talk about, and whatnot. So a lot of these production companies, their job is to sell high-end audiences to other companies, right?
Mhm.
So the whole game is of audience capture, and these audiences are basically curated beforehand, right? Because they belong to a certain group or they watch a certain show, right? And they're basically by and large sold to other shows, right? Where they manufacture this content. And then lastly, right, they'll give themselves money. Like, for
Mm.
example, right, they pay themselves, right? Like, they'll divide up the money that they're getting from the company into several donations that they give themselves through bots. So if they're not generating donations, they'll simply pay themselves, right, by giving the donations they've already gotten. Dividing those up into several bot accounts and then generating new donations, right? So it'll make it look like they're doing a really good job in getting all these donations, but actually it's just
Just
them
passing
giving
it
money to
back to
themselves. Yeah,
themselves.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And then, like, and then you bring in, like, talk about finances, like, in the drama-driven panelverse, the super chats and monetary donations to kind of act like a financial fuel that turns these conflicts into like a profitable sport. I look at it like a video game, even, man, because the money, it directly alters the behavior of not only the host but the panelists, and it transforms something that could be like a normal conversation into something that's like you said, engineered, and it's like a high stakes circus for attention and money, and probably, if you want to use more speculation, like mind control, some weird shit, distracts you from like benefiting from yourself.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I was like denied. I was not reapplied for monetization. I had to wait 90 days.
Oh wow.
And they still did. And they still did it again. It's like, and I cleaned up. I took all the copyright which says you have, reused content. So I cleaned that stuff up, and still. So it's like, yeah, but yeah, that's just something personal. But yeah, this whole crowdsourcing, using the donations is like the viewers, even in the chat, they use their money to insult people and start rumors
Well,
and
I'm starting to question if some of these regular donors are viewers, or are
Mhm.
they the production company acting like they're giving donations? You know, because you see the same donors in 2 or 3 chats, right? And they don't just contribute to the show; they run a few shows.
Well, they're
Right.
also paying YouTube directly because if YouTube takes 30% and they're sending a super chat, now you're actually
Uh-huh.
greasing the hands of the host, which is actually
Right.
YouTube, right? So that's part of the thing.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Neurojack brought up a huge point because the channels that are monetized, they're going to be promoted above the channels that aren't monetized already, right? So that's a actual factor because they're in business with YouTube, right? YouTube is going to promote the channels that are in business with YouTube, right? Why wouldn't they? They are a business
Because
after all, right? So, you know,
because they get a double side too, because you both get advertising and you also get super chat. So it's a dual income
Mhm.
source for YouTube itself. And ultimately it just gives them more data, right? Because then it's like, okay, now you have more transactional data, and then you have more ads data, right? So it's actually, I don't even think it's necessarily the money, it's also the data, right, that it
yeah.
generates. I
Yeah,
think
so
that
The
could be a
data,
big
yeah,
part of
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
This is data driven for sure. What did Shadow Buddha
Yeah.
said right here? Machino, I saw. I'll talk to him about this real quick. He said, Gabriel, have you noticed that the past few days that the boomers versus the millennials have been occurring in the panelverse? Yeah, for sure. I saw that with I saw you in Orthodox guys. I was like, oh, cool. I haven't seen this in a while. Machine's up there. And it's funny because Orthodox guy, I think he was happy to
Yeah, I was
see
trying
you
to
up there.
summarize a lot of the events that transpired,
Mhm.
largely for my own edification and for that of the audience. And I believe I
I
accurately
told you so,
summarized.
right, Machine? Type shit. You're like, I told you guys about this shit. Yeah.
Well, I could say more, right? But I don't want to give away the plot, right?
Uh,
Because obviously we see more than we say, and obviously that is a situation that has not come to a close yet from my
well,
perception of it.
yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Orthodox guy. I don't think he'll take this the wrong way. We're cool, but like, let's use him as an example because that's something that I witnessed the last couple of days. It seems like he's in a Occam's razor. I'll just look at it. Who knows what motivation and all the strings behind it, but it looks like it's a pull he's pulled between the boomers, like Chuck and Cynthia, and Tootie, and even though she's an Xer,
Yeah.
Generation X, and versus the millennials like Crab and
Yeah, I
Hornet.
found it fascinating because
You know,
I mean, as you know, I've had to clean house recently, and so there's a lot
Mhm.
of interesting dynamics with that because it seems like things are coming to a sort of confrontational phase, right? Where
Yeah.
certain energies turn to be totally untenable when placed in the same sphere, and then they start to become erratic. They start to give off erratic.
Yeah. Yeah. The distortions are coming out, like
Yeah, the
seeping through.
distortions. Yeah.
Yeah. The Chatter Cake says these idiots get their camera and mic to work. Can't get their camera and mic to work together at the same time. They're not using bots. Shit, 90% of them are. We say 21Q of points above disabled. You know what? That's something that like John Galt, the urban landlord, has been stressing about. Like, normally, if it wasn't for StreamYard, a lot of people wouldn't be streaming.
Yeah,
Because StreamYard makes it so easy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at thumbnail to thumbnail to title, to donor, right?
Uh-huh.
And you looked at 3 different chats. These people are not the only ones that are running their channel. If you believe that
Oh
these
yeah,
idiots that can't run their camera and run their microphone, that they're the ones running the channel, and they happen to acquire an audience of 30 to 60 people, then I think you should look again because there's something else going on there.
Yeah, look at Jack Talcott, for example. Like his thumbnails, he admitted that somebody else does it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And whoever does that, it's like very religiously dedications, like every day. They're on it. Bam, 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 bam. That's wild, bro. Good for him. But yeah. Oh yeah, we have a new channel. because we're gonna. I mean, this one is for the next 30 days till August 16th. Can't get any super chats or anything like that. So we're gonna. I'm just watch hours away on my other channel. It's called Mantra 93. We put it in the chat, so we're streaming there. We're streaming from there right now, and yeah. So this is going to be the main channel. We're going to be streaming for Shadow Buddha and I, and we're going to do a presentation on Saturday for you guys. He says we'll be doing a formal 30-minute presentation on mindfulness in the body and how the body is important as much as the mind. And we will do an easy to understand deep analysis. Yeah, for sure. We're gonna do that, hit it with the visual aids and whatnot. And then we're gonna open up the chat to see what y'all think about it, you know? So it's gonna be fun, because not to say there won't be drama, because you know, organically drama's everywhere, right? It's life, the Maya of the world, one could say. But with that said, we're gonna be strictly focused on the topic at hand. Right. So that's gonna be new for some of y'all, but it should be refreshing too. Yeah, so this whole thing about this panel verse and daycare, right? Because did you guys have to go to daycare when you were young, you know? Or did you have like relatives take care of you most of the time when you were little, you know?
Yeah, relatives. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So I did have a daycare experience. And it was very negative, I would say.
What's up, Don?
So I don't remember a lot of it because I was pretty young, and after this experience, I never went back to daycare, so it never became an issue again. But
Yeah, I'm
my
pretty sure
experience
like
of daycare was bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't have daycares, in Pakistan in like 1996. Right? Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
maybe in the
I'll tell you what
expat
it was
community
like.
they did, which is probably small. But yeah, for the most part, they probably did. Huh? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what it was like. There was a guy named Michael Keenan. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's no, I know, but that's fuck. I can't think of the name. It's the San Francisco Presidio, the the daycare there, because that was the military base, right? And interestingly enough, DreamWorks
is right
took
there.
It was right there. Took that property over. Yeah.
And Lucasfilms is not far away.
Lucasfilm, yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I didn't think about this like
in a lot of ways, if you think about it.
Weird, but not. Yeah. And then down the street is Christie Field, the beach right there, where the Zodiac Killer was doing his thing over there. You notice this when the host will triangulate, like, because I heard this accusation of this yesterday on OG's Orthodox Guys, like where not he was doing it, he was claiming somebody else was doing anything. The host will like pretend to be like neutral, while on the back ends they're feeding information to different panelists behind the scenes to like fuel the stream, so it's not boring or to cause drama and whatnot. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah, and I think that trauma bonding is a big thing too. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say about the daycare thing, because here's where it gets weird, right? So it's dynamic, right? And it just kind of goes back into conspiracy theory as well, because like, you know, are events that we watch on the news real or orchestrated? Well, obviously both to some degree, right? Like, you know, because like, okay, if there's a war, like the leaders have to send those people to war, so it is orchestrated. But at the same time, people do get hurt because it's a war, right? So it's both, right? And so for example, when I went to daycare, like my experience was there was a lot of dirty diapers. There was a lot of kids that were biting each other. There was like a lot of like, like really negative stuff. And again, I only went for a very short period. But what ended up really pushing me over the edge was like, you know, for example, we went to see a movie at the daycare, right? And then at this daycare, you know, I mean, at this movie theater, I needed to go pee, and there was not enough people to take me to there and watch all the kids, so I had to wait. And you know, obviously as a little kid, that's pretty hard to do, and I don't think it worked out so well, right? So but you know, those little negative experiences, like they really imprint on you and give you like a negative impression of the world, right? Because You know, and so I don't know. It's pretty weird. Yeah.
It's just the tone.
And yeah. And
It's-
and school
and-
kind of gets that way too, because as school gets less personal, it becomes more, you know, mechanical. Go ahead.
because it is a daycare for a lot, especially if the students, and I don't blame them, aren't engaged with the material or excited to be there. It becomes a daycare at best for them. Whereas like a student, either because they're ignorant or because they're just really excited about learning whatever it is, they're engaged with the material, so they're able to, you know, follow the directions and whatnot. Whereas someone who's bored, the teacher becomes a daycare. Like, hey, stop doing that. Hey, pay attention. No. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. And the thing, another resonating parallel between daycare and the Panelverse is, if one spends most of their time here on the live stream, panel hopping, chatting, they take that mentality offline when they do interact with people. And I don't think, and I don't get that some people go like, people don't act like.
I think you dropped out.
Yeah,
Or
your
am I tripping?
audio,
Yeah.
your audio disconnected.
Because I raised my mic when it does that. I don't know what you heard. I said, I think some people who make the claim that the Panelverse, the online experience is not like, you wouldn't act like that in real life. You know, I think some of those people, they do act the same, in a bad way, right? And they don't even see it. I don't. It's just some folks here are very not self-reflected at all. Read the room, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see it to believe it, right? I've not seen any of these people, right?
Uh-huh.
So out in the
Thanks, Shadow.
wild, as and out in the wild, as they say, right? I have met one of the homies from online,
Yeah.
and he turned out to be very surprisingly normal, right? He is into like history, politics, and stuff. And we have had several conversations, and we talked about a book by Carl Schmitt and all this type of stuff. A gentleman came on the show. We did an entire, I guess breakdown, of a book by Carl Schmitt, right? The political, philosopher of the Yahtzees, right? So
Yeah, I mean,
interesting stuff.
Michael T talks about him. Michael
Yeah,
Tsarion, yeah.
oh yeah, a lot of people talk about him. Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
T, right? The self-hating Pajit.
Yeah, who's a bard, Irish bard, Pajit.
Yeah, the house Negro.
Pretty much, yeah. Uncle Ruckus, Mick Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the tacky Uncle Ruckus. Yeah.
Yeah. Taking shots at mentors over there, Machine, I see.
You're taking shots at my entire situation. So
yeah. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Be careful, bro. There's legal liabilities and real world consequences. No, though there are some people like with that snafu snaps, right? That's another thing that gets into it.
Bacon out of the these losers up there, right? Once they cross the bridge, it's on, baby.
That's not that tough far from Michigan, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Gonna pull up.
Well, that's what's weird about it too. Is like, most of the beefs that I've had, and I'm sure this has been other people's experiences. Like, I don't take, because I don't know most of these people personally or have any desire to. I don't really look at it that beyond what it is, right? But it is kind of like weird that you have like people that take things very seriously or out of context, whether it's truly how they feel or part of what they're doing on one hand, and then on the other side they try to bait people into making things personal where otherwise it wouldn't be to be for any reason. Right? So seems to be a part of it. And again, I don't know if that's personality or something else going on, or it's hard to know, right? So but it does kind of go back to the whole idea of daycare, because it's a daycare for the people on the panel and for the people in the chat, right? But even think of it like this, economically, right? A lot of jobs are just daycare for adults in a sense too, right? Like That's kind of the
Oh yeah.
weird thing is like that the economics have now turned from like a pure capitalism to what Machina started to call like techno socialism or something, or I can't remember the exact term, but
Techno
it
liberalism. Yeah.
right. But no, but you said, but remember Tom was saying that we live in a capitalist society, and you're saying, well, we're kind of beyond that, and now we're into like a different type of situation, and I think that kind of plays into the panels as well, where we're
Mhm.
all kind of being uh given a sort of welfare. Like jobs are more like welfare than a job now, right? They're not
Mhm.
really necessarily about bringing the best out of you as a person. It's more about
Yeah.
giving you something to do to occupy
It's
you.
busy
And
work. It's busy work. It's like you could be a teacher that plans out a lecture and really breaks down and unpacks the subject, a topic, or and wants to go out of your way to engage the students, right? Or you could be one that says like, open your workbook number 2 to page 53, geography, and do the next 10 pages while I sit here and doom scroll or something or do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, some of these jobs do seem like the busy work, bro. You're right. I got that when I was
well,
working at the drugstore. I called it at the Italian grocery store. Yeah, I was ringing people up, but it was still like fucking, bro. This is just trying to keep me out of quote unquote trouble or something.
and there's this idea that Machine has brought up and Tom has brought up, and I'm sure you're aware of it, but it's also come up a lot in a lot of commentary recently about this idea that responsibility without authority is slavery, right? And I think more and
Mhm.
more this is the kind of you know overarching critique of technology and economics and political things and all these things where like we're given more and more responsibility as humans, but we're also kind of removed from it for various reasons, right? So
Yeah,
we don't really have the authority to really take any input, right? And so the idea that we vote for things and have some authority via that is kind of like going away, right? So
yeah. What's it becoming? You think? No, we
I'm
were
not sure.
replacing the
I'm
traditional
not
work.
sure. A daycare.
Yeah, yeah. Managing these people, huh? While they collect, I would assume that the majority of seems like a majority of the people in this space are disabled. Maybe collect some type of. Hopefully, they can. If they're disabled, they can collect some type of assistance, right, to take care of themselves. But you get a lot of time on your hands. I have a lot of time on their hands, man. Um, it's weird when you think when you may have the best intentions. You're like, I finally have some time off my hand. I got laid off or something. God forbid. Like I'm gonna try to improve myself, but what happens is a lot of times is you get in a rut of being comfortable, and yeah, yeah.
But that's the thing is like if your daycare of a job is not going anywhere, but then you have a
Uh huh.
daycare where you get the illusion of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more attractive because then how many people will trade like king of the mountain for that's not real for like king of the molehill that's like seems a little bit more real, right? So
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the only person I know of that went from a traditional job to doing this full time is Powder Dusty. That's his name. Like he went from doing drywall, which probably like, or I think he just said he did something else like safety compliance or some whatever it was. It was construction sound like base. From going to that, where yeah, I'm sure even if he had a decent job, he's not the boss, right? Probably, but to go from that to being in control of your own quote unquote community where you get money, I can see how that could be attractive for some people. Um, yeah, bro. Like I had a content creator out here, one of the biggest expat creator. He had told me like years ago, maybe like 8 years ago, about the importance of parasocial relationship if you're going to be a YouTuber, and because like if you have a parasocial relationship with these people, you get they get enmeshed into your life, like confused, right? Because a lot of viewers were lonely, and they lack meaningful, real connections in their life, right? So, or in their communities, right? Their family or even communities, like.
Well, think about it from this angle too. Like, how many people are in a parasocial relationship with their own family, like their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, because they live far away, right? So like they just get a phone call once a month and say, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And that's about the extent of the relationship. Like, does that
Yeah,
become parasocial in a sense at a certain point, or?
I mean, with your relative,
Right, because as you continue to live
one
your life
sided.
away from them,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And so you're living like in meat space, but also you just kind of communicate through that about nothing particularly important, right?
It's one sided, yeah, and isn't that what a parasocial relationship is? It's one sided, and if you the person that's always sharing and you have this strong connection with your relative that you're speaking to, and while they're completely unaware of like how important it is this relationship you have with them is, yeah, that definitely becomes a parasocial relationship, right? If you're putting it in, kind of like simping. That's what parasocial in a broader scale I can see it as. Whereas a simp is someone who puts all this effort to help somebody, to care for somebody, where the other person could care less about what they're doing for them. It gives them nothing almost.
Well, that's kind of the misery of the whole OnlyFans economy now, right? And that's kind of what a lot of the YouTube commentary and all this is. Where I mean, like Jay Dyer, I don't want to name him by name, but he has a very interesting meme where he calls like
What's up, Weekend?
his cut. He calls his audience pay piggies. Like, okay, pay piggies,
Mm-hmm.
send me some. And it's kind of funny, but it's also like to some degree true, right? Because
Yeah.
you know, like you're looking for guidance in a sense from
Yeah.
somebody you don't know. And, you know, not that it's always bad. I mean, do you really know Pythagoras when you're learning from Pythagoras? No,
No, it's
maybe
not bad,
not,
but
but
it's the
still.
truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so.
like with Jay Dyer, like they're literally donating to him, kind of buy kind of like entry into his tribe, and he probably if he reads the comment like or the donation, they automatically get validation, right? Oh, he read my name around, even though he called me a pay piggy.
Right. But then if you get excommunicated, like the whole crowd will turn on you, right? And then
yeah,
it also
man.
sends a message to everybody else that, well, this person's now outcast because whatever. And again, that's
Oh,
natural to tribalism, but now it's
yeah.
digital tribalism,
Today,
right? So
yeah, because today's guest is tomorrow's or tribe members tomorrow's target. Because the panelist, who's even like the host's closest ally one night, can easily become the main subject of a takedown stream the next week if they cross the host or the audience member. I had that experience on the other guy's channel.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Think about it like this too. Like, remember Clavicular? He
of
took an
course,
OnlyFans
that's my
girl and
nephew.
then brought this girl to meet the guy who gave her like $2 million, and she didn't even want to touch him or even speak to him
Oh,
because
Alice Rosenberg,
the
chubby girl. You said. You talking about her? Hello?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
She's not even chubby. He said he met her and he said the first thing he said to her was like, "Wow, you're fatter than you look on screen." Wow, that's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw the clip where
Yeah, I watched it like a couple times.
where he brought this guy, and he's like, "This is the guy who gave you $2 million," and he's like, do you even want to give him a hug?" And she's like, "No."
No, but she might have though. Here's the thing. Here's how it started. First of all, the metaphysics behind it is Clavicular most likely is already having sex with Alice for free in exchange for clout. She goes on his stream, right? For the last month, I've noticed her around, right? So he brings her biggest pay pig, right? And he's typical weird looking incel dude, and he shakes her hand, and she looks kind of excited but kind of nervous. Was suspected. I mean, a guy that probably goons to me all the time, right? And they introduce, and the first thing he says is literally, "You're fatter than you look on screen." And once he said that, she was done. She didn't know what to think because it already was weird.
Well, what's
Yeah.
interesting is like if Clavicular said that to her,
Uh-huh.
even
He
if he
did.
had way less money than this guy, right?
She'd be like,
He'd be like, well, yeah, but I like Clav for whatever reason, right? But then this other guy who's
she,
just an awkward, weird
yeah,
guy, even though he's
he
provided
looks.
her with a living for the next 5 years, he's not allowed to make her feel some type of way, right? You see what I'm saying?
No,
It's kind of
because
weird,
he only
right?
has money. I mean, under the black pill, it's a social pill, or whatever you want to call it. He had status, but that guy he didn't have. I mean, he had money, but he doesn't have status or looks compared to Clavicular. And Clavicular even said, like, yeah, maybe you're right, but like, and she didn't even. She's still probably gonna, fuck with Clavicular still. So it's it's wild, bro. Like,
But that kind of goes back to this whole panel burst as a daycare type of thing, right?
mhm.
Because again, it's like there's like a whole ecosystem, of, like you said, clout and parasocial relationships, and like people who want a dad, people who want a brother, people who want a sister, people who want to get laid or whatever. So it's like
Mhm.
it's a lot of different things, but because it's so inaccessible, um, you know, in any sort of real, tangible way, it puts everybody at a weird disadvantage where you don't really know, even what we're doing now. Like we don't really know the full like cost
Extent
and
of it.
reward of what we're doing, right? So
Yeah, right. I mean, that's why I do like one in the monetary is nice because I look at it as a video game. Of a game, we are all gamers, most of us, right? And that's points on the board. But there's also intangible points you can get with like great supporters that come. They may not even drop a dime on your stream, but they're like the work that they've done, either being like exceptional panelists or great chatters, is like priceless. And, so there's a lot of different ways you can get points. Shadow Buddha says Gabe Nero is spitting that real black pill about looks and being king, and a woman will make up some quote to be with Clavicular from Clav. Yeah, he sees it. Yeah, he sees it right there.
well, that's why I'm so interested in Clavicular, because it is kind of like a macrocosm of like what a lot of people are actually experiencing. Imagine all the people, you know, 25 years old, and their girlfriend either does OnlyFans or they don't have a girlfriend and they watch
I know.
OnlyFans because they feel like they have an experience of it, right? So
They have that girl, and she's like, they already have a quote unquote solid relationship. Someone say, "Hey, it was never solid," but hey, shit's very delicate, man. When you even think about it, like she's like, I've been considering doing OnlyFans. I want to pay off my college loan. It's like, god damn, that's fucking.
well, there's a
kind of
whole
cooked.
there's a whole economy of women who expect to get paid just because they're women, and some of them do get it, but because it's this kind of general expectation, like women don't believe in having any sort of like 2 lane relationship where it's like it's a back and forth between a man. It's kind of like, well, if I get what I want, maybe I'll grace you with giving you what you want because I want to give it to you or something like that. Which, of course, we want to think that relationships work that way, but the reality is there's always a give and take of some sort in any relationship, right? It doesn't necessarily
Always.
mean that there's no love, but there's always going to be an exchange of
Yeah.
some sort, right? So
Yeah, I mean, granted, maybe there isn't. Maybe there is you want to call it caveman, where the guy's like, you do what I say, everything shut your mouth, all that shit. Like, maybe that is a relationship. Maybe a woman with certain women would like that, but I don't see it really. But I certainly don't agree with one that when you're getting walked over as a man, Eve too. Even so, I would say like every body needs a head. Every team needs a leader, right? And if you are a part of a team, your family, or even if it's just you and your girl, you got to be the head as a man. However, you take compromise too when applicable. When it's poignant, and you take counsel probably from her too. So yeah, people can say all this shit, put out their chest and say this is not women and men, but like, talk to me when you done plus 14 years of marriage. and then maybe what you have to say will hold a little bit more weight. Not to say that I can't get knowledge from someone who's single, but like, just remember who you guys are talking to, though.
Oh, it's a different,
Yeah,
it's a different whole different thing
yeah,
because like every year that you're married or in a relationship, even if it's a friendship or something, every year is
uh
going
huh,
to change. Like it's going to
yeah,
be
for sure.
different. It's not going to be the same. It's always going to evolve. I mean, and if it doesn't, then that's probably a really bad sign. If it doesn't either, so
Yeah,
even if it doesn't, that's probably not good either. It's a
that you're like blissed out on shrooms 24/7 or so. Yeah, well, who said something? Oh yeah, um, our friend Becca. She said, "I'm so confused. What do pills represent? This is pills represent like kind of like in this case, the state of mind of how you would address a certain situation. In this case, in terms of male female um, dynamics, interactions, particularly sexually." And I think Shadow explained it a little bit here, Gabriel. He said, so the pills, right? The black pills, it's kind of like the existential pill. Black pill equals looks, money, height, status. As that's they think that that's what attraction is based on, right? Not being a nice guy, not, yeah, I'll just keep it at that. Looks, money, status, basically. This is what that's based on, right? This is your lot in life. Know what know what you're working with, and in a lot of ways, if you do that, if you do want to talk to a woman, engage with a woman, you can kind of almost judge where it might take you. You might not go out of your league, or you might not undersell yourself either, right? And then the red pill, social awareness and techniques to dating, career, and money. Like that's kind of like self-improvement, right? Like you already know what you're dealing with, right? Now how am I going to level up so I can take advantage of what I'm working with? To get my body right, get my finances right, get my, they call it riz or whatever, charisma, right? Your game, right? And get your money right. And then the blue pill is like what we're born into, basically a world of you're still asleep to how things are going on. You're not awake. It's to the realities of life, which you do need sometimes, especially if you have a job, especially if you do have a wife or a girlfriend. You gotta be blue pill in the sense, I call it being humble sometimes, right? The nice guy, right? It's okay to be the nice guy when you have other things in order. But if you're just a nice guy throughout your life, you're gonna get shit on. So this is kind of like a quick overview of the pills, right? Black, red, blue. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, you only take pills when you're sick, right? Don't live and die by these things. It's just something to remind
what
you of
well
situations.
what color pill would the daycare pill be?
The daycare pill would be the blue brown one with the dirty diaper. The bluish brown pill. Yeah.
I forgot to mention this earlier. And I think there may be somebody joining soon. How much longer are you going? Because somebody told me they wanted to join, they did not come up.
I'm gonna go at least another hour. I gotta go to the dog park. Yeah, an hour or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure. They're more than welcome. What's up, Marilyn? I just saw you. What's up, sweets? Good to see you. Yeah. Shout out to this person. I think they changed their name. They're killing it.
This is a fan of our show. I think he used to go by a different name, but he's from the United Kingdom or something like that. Yeah. But he's a funny guy. I like him.
Long
But
story.
I couldn't understand his mic sometimes, but he has a lot of interesting stuff to say. I wish he would join. But no, I was going to ask you, what do you think of Waldorf schools? Because I was kind of thinking about this recently. Because I tried to take my kid to a Waldorf school last year, which was a little bit too early, I think. But I was kind of intrigued. Like I think they have an interesting thing, but I didn't look that deep at it.
That's
So do you know anything about it?
If I'm not mistaken, they use some of the Jesus Christ, what's his name? The cool guy.
Steiner.
Rudolph Steiner, yeah, like his stuff. But I'll tell you from anecdotally, people I know, my good friend Jeff Soto, the author, went to college with, his daughter and son went to Waldorf school and it's very like artsy, like art focused and creative, as I remember him saying. And if you know the lore from this channel in my life, like my surfer girl that I used to date back in college, she was a product of Waldorf school. And I remember when she would talk about it, she would tell me, very great artist, right? Visual artist. She would tell me that, like, you know, she loved her school and all that, and they taught her, like, you know, painting, but they don't read. They don't promote the kids to read till they're like a certain age. I don't think they focus on traditional academics right away. So the kid may be off the charts with art, but I remember Teal would tell me that, like, when she got to quote unquote regular school, conventional school, she was like way behind and didn't know, like, you know, the STEM stuff, for example, probably, right? And then some English language.
I noticed
stuff.
one thing, like my own schooling was kind of it's kind of a blur for whatever reason, but you know, when you raise your own kid, you notice one thing very quickly. And I'm sure you notice this because you have a kid and you've taught, right? But whenever I realized that you know, my son could read very early compared to most of the kids, it's extremely weird because kids kind of just pick up on the meaning of things on their own, right?
Right.
And I've noticed that it's way earlier than I think people give them credit for in a lot of ways. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling thing. And I noticed when I saw some of these more artistic kids, their ability to kind of pick up on things was kind of stunted, I guess. And so I was kind of shocked by that because I didn't expect it to be so pronounced. But yeah, it's kind of. Do you have any insight of why that might be, or?
There's only probably so much processing power the kid can have. I'm looking at the video game metaphor, right? And they're building out their character, and I guess that could be it. Now, if you could find someone that's like a kid that's on genius with STEM, but also a great visual artist, that'd be insane. Yeah, we got a guest right here. Let me bring him up real quick.
That's a good dedication.
Way to go.
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, Pill Eater? Good to have you, man.
Good.
Yeah.
It is 11:38 a.m. here in Busan. I just had cheese tteokbokki and saying hi to Jack and Machine Lies. And blessings.
Good to have you. What's on your mind? What's trending? I mean, it's rare that we get someone with a mind like you here, like legend like that. So what's trending with you? What's on your mind, man?
The American market again crashed yesterday from America Trump returning, and I question the ethics of day trading all the time. But I think in this type of society, if you want to make money by doing nothing, I think everybody's day trading and not telling one another how to do it. But even when you tie yourself into it, it's kind of like the pact with the devil. So if the devil falls, you fall too. But if the devil raises, you get a rise too. So in that kind of dysfunctional society, that's kind of the only means of quote unquote producing anything. If that means sitting in front of a computer and being dictated by digits that give us keys to open doors that really don't mean anything.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like whether you're working with the devil, winning with the devil or losing with the devil, you're going up and down like this roller coaster in the background. Like that says something for the state of the collective consciousness, I would think.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel the same way too, where if American society would be any better, at least there would be some form of security, but it's almost lacking and I think that just might be a sign of collapse, but maybe I'm just being too pessimistic there.
Would you say, like, when we hear that some of these conservatives, I don't know what else to call them, like when they say, we need to get back to the trades, that's where it's at. It's that pushback from this day trading mentality going on, you think?
I don't think the trades are going to work because
Yeah.
that hole has already been filled. It's used, I don't know what else metaphor to say, but
Uh,
you can only have so much that robots will just replace you, and you can only tenure those people who got in 10 years ago to make sense of a trade or a quote unquote skill. You use the rhetoric to make sure it's all about individual liberty than it is about an actual objective thing going on. And
yeah.
the only thing they can do is, like I said, create quick retirements, or at least put quote unquote tenure on these people, where it kind of creates a type of private socialism for they, but not for you. Or and it just seems like it's just a part of the whole ideal that it's unnecessary pain when you could reduce it to do something else, like crypto, like day trading, like a managerial job in New York. Even if it's, there's this argument whether you get more wealth from what you do, but if it's a credit society and everything's borrowed, well,
Mhm.
there's no real wealth being made. It's kind of this weird debt society of owning to owning by owning something, and it never ends. And it's just a society perpetuated upon interest. So that's pretty much, I think people are just kind of, they've made sure that there is a non-physical economy, and people are just lost in kind of a newer caste system.
Yeah, Nero, is that a gut punch to you? Because we've been talking about that day trading. I have like my best friend Brian Leo. He's pretty much on trends and stuff. That's options. That's his thing. Like
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
that's what I'm trying to learn, and I realize it's like you have to kind of like, you got to kind of like, you know, that like I'm not big into like obviously like I'm a Christian, but like if I think if you're going to like there is this kind of like communion that you would want to do with like Lady Luck or something, like please like let me win, because there's no, and that's the same thing in business too. Like if you want to make a lot of money, it's always
Mhm.
gambling at the end of the day, right? And I think the gambling analogy is very poignant because there's like
But they love
calculated
to say
gambling or
investment.
not, but
They love to say investment, though. This is an investment. It can't be gambling. And when it's investment, it's a vagueness to cover the front that it is gambling. Because if you have X amount of money to make this amount in return, and it's just probability in the end, yes, I guess it's a skill, but then also at the same time, they can control the market at any will to bail out people, and you at the expense, even if you had statistics on your side and everything was proven right.
Shadow Buddha has a question for you, Peter. He says, "Do you think Japan and Europe will want to demand payment back for their debts anytime soon?"
I don't think so, because it's a whole debt society. It's usury. They're basically stuck within this, like I said, a devil pack of. I take a very. Here's the thing. I think this is a cryptic Marxist view that I have. I seriously believe Japan has been colonized, but it's under a soft form of colonization. It's. I know it sounds uncanny, but if you ask a hardcore Marxist or some kind of new leftist today, they will talk about Japan being colonized even at the soft level. And I think that colonization has to do with being entrapped in a system that perpetuates, a economic liberal capitalist society that has its value system against, other forms of socialism. And it just divides the world into this, again, 1950s cold world capitalism versus communism ideal. And I think that binary still never left. It just evolved into BRICS, which is, any argument of multipolarity, which means everybody can grow without the West. Divides, say, G7, America, leftover of Europe, and only Japan. And then some other Asian countries that are sitting on the fence, and they don't know if it's G7 or BRICS, but you have agents within it. And that kind of ideal is, what do they say? Ethno-nationalism. Everybody just goes to your own room, but there's no external reality. It seems like ethno-nationalism on the G7 side and multipolarity on the BRIC sides is literally the same thing. It's just the agendas are different, but the application has this libertarian basis, which I believe is still liberalism. It's just a very convoluted form of soft liberalism where we play
Well,
agents too.
well, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to ask Pill Eater this because I wrote a comment to you when you said you might want to jump on. I said Gramsci daycare is the like new model or something. So that's kind of like how I feel about it. But I was wondering, do you think that's accurate or not really?
I would say, again, I would say James Burnham's The Managerial Revolution, where coming from a Trotskyist background and realizing, if you know something about Trotskyism, the permanent revolution, the third world is problematic and racist. They can't be reformed into communist. Therefore, you have to have a first world elite that could change the world to its interests. Well, that just morphed into the neoconservatives who, were center right leaning, but were Trotskyist based, and then denied Marxism, kind of like Austrian school for economics. And then, like, if it's Gramsci, then Gramsci's arguing, well, the only reason why I'm in prison under Italian fascism is because the media and what people believe is more important than the application of praxis. Well, then that problem is that just subverts back into like a defeatism. There can, Tina, there is no alternative, and this kind of, you can't debunk the liberal system. There is no usurping going on, and I think that type of infiltration comes from the American left, whether that's from PSL or DSA, and any talk that communism is a metaphor, like Tony Negri argues in Commonwealth or Empire, or this Mark Fisher hipster obsessive nature that things are metaphorical. And I think all this is a ploy so they wouldn't create Maoists or Stalinists. I think that's the funny part, which has a benefit but has a doubt. But I think it just creates. But as for the Gramsci chart, long story short, I think there's this more obsession with controlling the platform and telling what's on TV than it is about politics. So I was sending Neurojack about Mixtape, this new video game that's just about 1999, and it's 3 hours, and it's more like a movie visual, not really a game. But everybody hates it because it's what you can do if you had that much money. You can make a game about yourself and put the music in you like and the aesthetics you like into it against the will of the people. You might not like it, but this is what they like. And if you want to be cultured, you got to like what they like. It's just like reading the New York Times or NPR, stuff white people like, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's a form of metaphorical Gramscian daycare. They just think, I think the problem is assuming everybody wants that, assuming somebody in Africa likes that, and somebody in Asia. And I see this a lot with liberal journalist outlets. Yeah.
Do those people even care, really? Though, to me, they seem like they were like,
no, they don't.
I don't care
because they're in their own reality. That's the fun, because they're so aloof with money, they can do whatever they want, not take consequences, never be in debt. They can lose money, but it won't hurt their way of life because they have trust funds upon trust funds.
It's funny you say that. Like, okay, now I'm trying to make the parallel to the topic of what I was trying to do here with the daycare in the panelverse parallel. Like, people are basically like, biding time here, right? from their normal misery life for some people. So with that said, would you say some of these panels are, like the people, just like the top tier upper class people you're talking about making that video game, in their panels, they're doing like a ghetto version of that? Maybe.
I mean, if you mean ghetto, I mean like aesthetic or in subculture, or if there's a bunch of Asian men in a TikTok chat being resentful against how the world's against them, I guess that's real. And then you can have a chat full of trans people taking how they create these weird terms, how they hate outsiders in a very cult-like manner. I think that's more like some weird division sex, if that makes any sense. It's like
Okay.
yeah.
In general, what do you think? Because you have your work seems to have a vast, like a zoomed out version of what's what's going on and how the systems that are like pushing things or whatnot. How would you think this, like in terms of StreamYard culture, YouTube live culture, plays into some of the things that you've been recognizing and observing?
Well, I mean, it's been going on for a decade now with Google Hangouts. I remember when it was Luke Ford, and Luke Ford on his show would have pretty much everyone from some of those names don't even exist anymore. But I mean, they're all on X now. But the longest, Google Hangout person was Beardson Beardley with the Weekly Sweat, and now he seems to be a big general with the Nick Fuentes party. But it seems like after Google Hangout, we have this splinter of StreamYards and just public access TV for creating virtual hangouts and mimicry of Discord and X Spaces. And Sex Spaces have only been around for 4 years now, but it seems like the Discord ideal that we are coming into a virtual room to, out of boredom, to exercise mental and thinking activities we can't really do in person or in the meat world, because there's nothing really to do unless we're in academia, but it's already compromised. So everyone speaks in code now, and I think that has to do a lot with, or you're just not in the beast world. You're not in the belly of the beast. You're somewhere else, and I think that's true with a lot of people, is that they can't even be in the places where they are targets to be destroyed.
Whoa. You think about that, Machine?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a little quote here by Montessori from the Technological Society. It says, "We must awaken the child's social conscience. I know that it is complicated. That it is a complicated educational question, but the child who will become the man must be able to understand life and its needs, the fundamental reason for all existence. The search for happiness. He must know exactly what he must do and what he must not do for the good of humanity. To reach these ends, we must prepare the child to understand the meaning of the necessity of the entente among the nations." It's like the peace among the nations, right? And then it says, "The organization of peace devolves more."
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Did you catch what he
dropped out for a second?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He dropped off. Yeah. I heard that what he said about the happiness, like the point of the purpose of a child is to find out what makes them happy. That sounds like hedonistic, or what does this society look like if the top priority is what makes you happy? That sounds all right, or am I missing something?
Well, just off the top of my head, I mean, well, happiness, it can't be a constant thing. It's going to be cyclical at best, right? I would say so.
Well, it's convenient to the present, right?
Whoops.
Whatever happy is now isn't happy tomorrow. That's another weird thing. Whatever your form of pleasure isn't the same as a general acceptance of pleasure. So that's there's a self-defeater there. And I think it's a part of the problem where the liberal world order basically just says you do you, or why do you care about what others do? And this kind of, again, self-segregation, libertarian solipsism, that there's no external reality.
Machine, can you finish that quote? Because I do have some comments I want to say.
I have no idea when I fell out of here.
Oh, you fell out about, like 30 seconds in. So
Yes. She says, he must know exactly what he must do and what he must do for the good of humanity. To reach these ends, we must prepare the child to understand the meaning and necessity of the entente among all nations, like peace among nations. The organization of peace devolves more on education than on politics. To secure peace practically, we must envision a humane education, psychopedagogy,
Oh
which
wow.
affects not one nation, but all men on earth. Education must become a truly humane science to guide all men to judge the present situation correctly.
Yeah. You do you. Yes, Stanley, you're welcome to come up. Let me before we comment on machines, let me bring in our new friend here.
Yes, hyper individualistic.
Yeah, let me where's the shit? Good radio right here. What up, Stanley? How's it going, man? Good to have you. Yeah. You're on live and direct. What's up, Lil Wing in the chat? Good to see you.
Well, good to be here.
She dropped down again. Good, yeah, good to have you too. You have a great question about like, is there? Would you say is there really childcare?
Well, yeah. Is there such a? Shoot, I can't remember now.
Is there such a thing as
basically,
childcare?
is there such a thing as childhood?
Oh, childhood. Excuse me. That's what it was. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Machine.
I mean, definitely the line is being blurred, I guess, right? And they're perpetually drawing a conflict between sort of young versus old. That's sort of a low level conflict, right? Also, like men versus women is another form of like a low level, like the like the lower spiritual level, like conflict, right? So, but yeah, I'm curious to know what you mean by that, Stanley. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm an old man. I'm 61.
Right.
I grew up in the U.S. South back in the day, and one of the things that I was lucky enough to have were parents and grandparents, for that matter, who were let a child be a child. The child, doesn't know what happiness is technically. They are just happy. You bring them into adulthood, in stages. And I'm a big believer in that. Children should be children. Seeking happiness for a child is good parents who look out for them. Happiness is not, it's very subjective.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think that what Maria Montessori is saying is like hyper individualistic. That
I don't care about that. Children should be children.
Right. Right. So you don't think they should search for happiness, is what you're saying?
Nope. They don't know what happiness is until
right.
How many 2-year-olds can spell happiness? And if they can, they're probably unhappy.
Well, can you define child, or can you give me your definition of child and happy?
A child is basically someone, and I'll do it legalistically. A child is someone who is dependent on a parent.
Do you think that the state or systems act
the
as
state
a parent
has
to adults?
nothing to do with it in a U.S. context? State has nothing to do with it.
Sure, they do. They absolutely do.
No, 100% if the state did not birth that child, doesn't have anything to do with that child. Now, of course, there are rules. You got to have an education. You got to have your shots and stuff like that. But parents are responsible for the child. The state does not birth a child.
Well, but wouldn't you argue that?
No. I need you to help me out here. Does a state birth a child?
Does an environment
No.
Okay, I need you to concentrate on my question.
So wait, are you a blank
Does the
slate
state
kind of person?
does the state have a womb?
Even a blank slate?
We're not pulling children out of the state's womb.
Right.
So says you. I mean, I don't know that it's.
Oh
clear
wait,
that
hey,
that's not the case.
I was there when my son was born. They didn't pull it out of the state.
You or the state?
They had to clean it. They had to give the woman.
Son more,
They
you or
did
the
not
state?
give the state. They did not give the state. The state needed an episiotomy.
Holy shit!
Who raised your son more, you or the state?
Me. As a matter of fact, he came home from college. Damn it, the state couldn't keep him once I tossed him out. No, that's a joke.
but you see,
He
what
just
I'm
came
getting at,
home
like,
a couple weeks ago, right, Sally? Literally, right?
How do you separate the man? How do you separate the person from the environment? Right, like
the person's the person, the environment's the environment.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, if you really want to think about it, you come in from the environment in a shelter. People need shelter, like they need protection from the environment sometimes.
Here's Ben when he was born, like literally 15 minutes after he was born, right here.
10. A number, okay. 10. Okay. Number is 10. What is 3,000.
Aww.
15.
That's a big baby.
Yes. And toys is 5.
5? Yeah.
5. Okay.
Thank you.
That guy's 8 years old. He just did a judo tournament yesterday, came in second. So yeah.
No way.
Time
really?
flies. Time flies.
Oh, poor boy does it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just crazy.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. And congratulations on the Stanley too, man. He has one of our great thinkers over there over there. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah. So shout out to this is a man that has what's up? Is this Tom? Noid?
Yo, what up, man? What's going on with you, my brother? How y'all living?
I'm chilling, bro. Speaking of children, this man is a master at having children right here, right? What's up,
I feel you, bro. Listen, yeah. I got between 8 and 12 kids, depending on which female you talk to. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez. Oh man. We were talking daycare, and I mean, I was trying to relate it to this panelverse stuff, but it got us to a wider question about we're talking right now. If you caught up about childhood and what is a child and all that. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Can I ask you a quick favor?
Go ahead,
because I wasn't able to listen to the whole thing. The panelverse. Can you make that link for me?
Oh, the link.
No. The panelverse to the daycare.
Oh yeah, because the daycare system. In terms of the U.S., it was it came about. It was a move from the home to the industry. To industry, okay. Right? And during the industrial age, we needed that, right? And I'm thinking, and it made me think because I'm thinking about how these panelists, a lot of people, they take their private struggles and they vent. Mm-hmm. Normally, they would vent to a friend or a family member. They do it on these digital spaces because a lot of times their offline environment is that they don't feel like they have a place available or people available that will actually listen to them. So yeah. Okay. That's one of the connotations I was looking at.
Well, and really quick, you just kind of give me a little insight. Like, think of whose responsibility it is to raise children, right? It used to be parents alone. Now it's teachers and parents.
It was never parents alone, dog. It was never parents alone.
No. But what I'm saying is that it was clear about who was in charge. Now it's like we're
Right.
mostly raised by women, or mostly raised by the state, or mostly raised by the government, or propaganda, or media.
Well, no, you're raising them for the government, right? That's the thing that like a lot of people don't understand. Like, you know, when you think of America, like you go, oh, this is a nation. It's not a nation. It's an economic zone, right? And as a parent, your job is to raise good economic units, right? To feed into the economy. That's your purpose. And so, like, how do you do this? Well, you send your kids to school to go learn like the social structure, right? You know, I mean, to be molded into like the proper type of citizen, right? But the daycare leads into that to give them a head start on that, right? Because everybody is like competing to be able to stand here and have their children, you know, I mean, like have a, you know, I mean, like a normal middle class lifestyle. And that's why like they send everybody like to college over the past, you know, I mean, like 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, right? It's because like they want you to be able to stand here and like be decent economic units, number one, but number two, also, right, they're pushing the responsibility of, you know, I mean, like training and education and the structure and the culture of like the economy onto like the individual rather than having it be, you know, I mean, like a community thing. It's like it was never like the entire idea of the nuclear family. That's actually only ever existed after the Industrial Revolution. That didn't exist before then. Before then, it was like a multi-generational family.
Have you read David Brooks's The Nuclear Family Was a Mistake?
No, I haven't. You know, I mean,
yeah, it's
like
the same argument. It's basically the same argument that the nuclear family is an economic unit rather than a nation. And Brooks famously wrote that out. And we should go back to the extended family, which you talk about as the community, because the extended family puts the people in your blood first. And this was written by Atlantic journalists, pretty much.
Yeah, right. And well, journalists have done a lot. I just like the 9 Nations of America was written by a journalist. Right, you know, I mean, that's a fascinating. I forget the guy's name, but it was back in like 1923, right, where they broke down the different nations of North America, right? Because like it's actually like we're not like one nation.
The one I read was Colin Woodard. Have you read that? It's a more updated version.
Yeah, Colin Wood. I think that's the guy's name.
Colin Woodard.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was he talking about?
Really well. Basically, it's, you know, how America is regional, and I don't want to distract, but there are basically 11 regions, you know, Deep South, New England, Midlands, you know, and it influences so much of our politics, our culture, et cetera, et cetera. And it actually, when I read it, just gave me oddly enough, an insight on Black culture, you know, which is what I talk about a lot.
Right.
So I think that 9 nations idea, America started out as 13 colonies, not a contiguous nation. We have federalism for a reason. States have a lot of power. We are not as homogenous, you know, like a Switzerland, as we tend to think we are. And that's kind of the reason there's so many ideas floating around. So I don't want to, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole daycare thing, right? Like the whole daycare structure, right, is all based off of like the period of America where everybody was more homogenous. And that's because, like, we were...
America has never been homogenous. If you actually take that 9 nations, never been. Not even at the beginning. We had a whole civil war.
From the period of 1945 until 1980, right? Actually, technically, like 1937 until 1980. Hang on a minute, bro. Wait a minute. If you go look at like the voting patterns... Right, okay, like go look at Reagan and Nixon too.
Wrong.
Go look at the votes.
There was a whole civil rights movement in there. Tell me about how we were homogenous.
All right, so really? I'm going to explain.
You don't need to explain, son. I'm not a neophyte.
I mean, like, listen,
the homogenous after the homogeneity argument after 1945 is ridiculous.
I mean, it's not.
You don't have to mean I have done my evaluation. It's ridiculous. We've never been homogenous. From day one, July 4, 1776 to now, we've never been homogenous.
I mean, technically,
can you break down for the hold on? Can you break down what are we talking about homogenous? Can you, a definition for that?
Well, the first definition you need is nation. What do you mean by nation first, and secondly, homogenous?
Where they're from,
No.
Natio.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so like the homogeneity idea, right, of culture. I'm talking like homogeneity of culture, right? Not homogeneity of like people's ethnicities, religions, anything like homogeneity of culture, right? All right, so the reason I say this is because like everybody at that point, like go look at the approval rating of the government or the trust in the government at that point, like from like 1945 until about 1980, right? I mean, it dipped after like Kennedy got shot, and it dipped after Nixon some, right? But like it,
okay,
like
1980 was how many years after Kennedy got shot? Where's your argument going?
It was 27 years after Kennedy got shot.
Where are you going? Why are you doing these huge leaps in time?
It's not 27 years is not a huge leap in time.
27 years is a huge leap in time if you want to talk political homogeneity.
It's not,
it's not,
right?
Well, hold on. Well,
It literally is.
I
In
know
a 250-year-old country, 27 years is quite a chunk of time.
I know the disconnect between you guys. You guys are using different definitions for the term nation.
No, I'm using a right definition. And no, I understand what a nation state is. So don't go there.
Once you got the publication of mass media through like radio and television, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was much more homogenous, right, than it is today, right? Before we had the internet age and everybody ended up like like put into their own boxes and had their own like algorithmic different little echo chambers that they have now, right? Things were much more homogenous, right, between 1945 and 1980 than they are today.
Can I help you out?
The approval in government, right, and the approval in the economics was a thing.
Wow.
It's a thing, right? It's a thing. Like everybody watched the same movies, listen to the same music. Everybody should listen to watch the same movies, listen to the same music, bought the same clothes, went after the same cars, had the same goals, had the same structure. The American dream was the idea that was pushed by Ford at that time. Am I wrong?
Should I sing a Negro spiritual?
I was about to say, Stanley's like,
yeah. Did you catch that? Oh, dude, you are so fucking wrong. Black people weren't hearing that shit, dude. You are so. I don't even know where to go.
He may be wrong, but it's like it's a little bit more.
Going to sing the Negro spiritual. Dude,
we're acquaintances and friends.
Where did you get the homogeneity argument? Black people, yeah, we were there. We witnessed.
Hold on. Wait. Because I
gotta remember where where he grew up, man. The South is a little different than other places.
Yeah, listen, I'm from PA, bro. Like, listen, we have black suburbs where like you had steel workers and shit. And they were like 100% black.
There? Okay, we are not talking about.
I have black children.
I don't care. Okay, let's go back to your argument about the homogeneity. If you have black kids, do you preach this homogeneity argument to your black kids, to your black friends?
Oh no! Listen again. My black kids, my black son's down in Georgia right now, right?
Reactions.
Oh shit!
What are the reactions when you preach?
My black son's in Georgia. My black son's in Georgia right now playing football, right? Hang on, wait a minute. He's down there playing football in Georgia right now.
I'll listen.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good. Right, yeah, listen, and like literally, like it is well understood that like when he was up north, right, and he went up to like Lockhaven, right, he was around Italians and like like black kids and mixed kids, right. It's like he was fine. He went down there to Georgia and he's like, bro, like these motherfuckers are different down here. This is a whole different type of thing. right? It's a different thing just as a whole. But hang on, wait a minute.
And you have defeated your own argument about homogeneity. It's a different thing. You lose and you defeated your own argument.
When it comes to the economics, right, and the cultural aspects of the economics, it was very similar. It was pretty much homogenous during that period. Everybody wanted the same shit. They wanted a car, a house, you know what I'm saying, like 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 kids, right? They wanted motherfucking like to have property and to participate in the economy.
A time frame? Can you give me a time frame when everybody wanted the same thing?
Again, it was 1945 to 1980, and everybody believed it was possible too.
So was that Martin Luther King's argument? We all want the same thing.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how I argue with this.
Hold on. Well, hold on, Stanley. Let me help you out because
I'll put it this way. Egalitarianism means we have the same access to it, but it's not the same as sameness, that we're all the same. You may have equal access to it, but some people won't have that access.
Yeah, and he wanted the same access. He wanted the same thing.
I don't think so. I think black people in 1961 just didn't want their asses beat when they protest. When they sat at a lunch counter, they did not want any guff. They just wanted coffee.
Yeah, I agree. They wanted the opportunity to participate.
All I have to say, and I'm going to be rather gentle here,
Thank you,
it's
Stanley.
my first time. It's my first time here. I will yield the floor, but your argument about homogeneity and we all wanted the same thing, yeah, maybe at a meta level, but I think sometimes they just wanted a cup of coffee and a cheese sandwich and couldn't get it.
I want to.
Okay.
I want $1 billion.
How do you pay for a cup of coffee and a cheese sandwich?
Really? You're gonna go there, son?
We're talking economics, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole civil rights movement was paid for by McDonald's and Coke.
Again.
Like, yo.
I'm just gonna calm down.
Like, yo.
Let you
I think
roll.
there's two different schools. Liberalism means that we have, or that we're all the same, the will to do it, and egalitarian means we have equal access, but it doesn't mean we're all going to have the cheese sandwich, or that we can't. We may try to get the cheese sandwich, but
don't even know what that means. Egalitarianism and liberalism. Liberalism
I don't think it's
is
not the same thing.
No, not even close.
Exactly.
Well, let me help you out because really quick, Stanley, I want to go back to what you first said. You said this nation has never been homogenous. Well, what do you mean by nation, though? What do you mean by
cultural.
nation?
I mean culturally.
But that's not the definition of a nation, though.
Okay. Yeah, I think a nation can share a government. Nation states are basically under a same government. It tends to not be a monarchy. They're on a whole bunch of different, kingdoms, fiefdoms, that sort of thing. Now you can sharpen up my definition because I hadn't thought about it, but I know what a nation state is.
Yeah, a nation's a group of people who shares the same shared history, economics, like ethnicity, language, culture, and religion. Right, that's a definition of a nation, technically. Right, but like we're not a nation.
Go with that,
no.
We have. Hold on, I'm talking nation state.
A nation state is like something else completely. Right?
Correct. We have a nation state in this modern world.
I mean, yeah, a state's something else completely as well. Like state.
That's why I keep saying nation state, not nation.
Yeah, a nation. All right, so like a state as a whole, like state as a word didn't exist until like 15.
Okay, uninterested in the tap dancing. America is a nation state.
It's important to understand what a state is.
It is literally a modern concept. A lot of it has to do with the Industrial Revolution.
I mean, not really.
All these tribes, all these fiefdoms, whatever. Like Germany. Germany
I mean,
was a bunch of little princedoms and kingdoms.
I agree with like
economics.
Economics
Forced a bunch of nations into nation states.
There we go. Yeah, you're right. This is a merchant class mentality.
I know I'm right. Thank you for confirming.
Right. Yeah.
Hold on real quick. Let me just remind people that the new channel we're going to be streaming from is it's called at Mantra 93. Myself and Shadow Buddha were in our first episode show on that channel, Mindfulness in the Body, will be on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. So please sub up to that channel. It's in the chat at Mantra 93. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Well, you'll receive great conversations like these. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, sorry. Like, listen. So, like, this whole thing, like, what we have right now is a capitalist structure based on like merchant colonial fucking economics from like 1480, something like that. Right. That's where all this structure came from. And up until, you know what I'm saying, like probably the 1800s, the 1880s, like with the advent of like electricity or mass electricity, oil, transportation, all these type of things, right? Everything was much, much more localized, much, much more divided, much more generational. After that period, after like the 1940s, right? Because like you had in 1930, there was 10% of the population had refrigerators.
Which country?
In the United States. 10% of the population had a refrigerator.
Everything's about the United States, correct?
Well, we're only talking about the U.S. right now. I don't care about the rest of the world, right? So, like,
let me help you out with your very niche point of view.
This is not a niche point
There's
of
a
view.
book there. It is a very niche point of view. And when I say niche, I have a better word, but I'm new here. So,
thanks for your grace, Taylor.
there is a book called Empire of Cotton, and I'm new to the book. I had no clue that cotton was like the first global economic thing. It ushered in the actual industrial revolution. You must read it, and it will solve a lot of these weird notions. Cotton had no clue, but cotton independently was grown and woven in several different parts of the world. And it wound up being that, England wound up taking over the whole thing over, a couple hundred years. It will tie together a lot of what's a nation state, how nation states were formed, how the Industrial Revolution got to be the Industrial Revolution. Sven Beckert is the name of the author, and he's also written a book on capitalism, which I haven't read. You got to read it. It's seminal. And it wasn't just about the United States. By the way, it wasn't just about the United States, but I had no clue how the Civil War changed a world economy. I had no clue. It's just a brilliant book.
So you admit that the Civil War was not about slavery alone; it was about economics.
No. My point was the Civil War. Well, it wasn't about slavery, not initially, but the Civil War changed a world economy. The Civil War had a major impact on the Industrial Revolution, and I had no clue.
Yeah, I agree. But like, you ever heard of a guy named George Monbiot?
It is a seminal book.
You ever heard of a guy named George Monbiot?
No.
He's a Frenchman.
Tell me about him.
He's an economist. He writes about the origins of capitalism. It came to be in 1450 in a place called Madeira, right? Where Madeira was the first place where you had the commoditization of labor, land, and money at the same time. And basically what that means is you divorce like money, land, and labor from like its traditional cultural like ties. So like when these explorers showed up there, they realized that sugar grew really well. But the land was like wide open because it was like an island that nobody.
Madeira, Spain.
Madeira, yeah. It was discovered in 1450. It was uninhabited, right?
Oh, wait,
And so
hold it. Where you'll have to help me. I don't know where.
Madeira, Portugal. Madeira, Portugal, not Spain.
Okay, you and I will disagree on that history then.
I mean, okay, right, but all right. So Portuguese colonists discovered it, right? And
Okay.
these Portuguese colonists showed up, right? And they stood here, and they ended up standing here like having the first time where they had land,
Where
and they
did
were
they
able
discover this?
to Madeira, on the island of Madeira in 1450.
Oh, okay. So you mean off the coast of Africa?
I think it's off the coast of Portugal, but it might be off the coast of Africa.
Okay. Well, let me help you out with your history.
Okay, go ahead.
Essentially, Portugal creeping. There's a whole thing, and there's a book called Born in Blackness by Howard French, and there are one or two other books I can't recall off the top of my head. Portugal basically kicked off African slavery.
I agree.
And
I was about to tell that story.
they crept down the west coast of Africa, and it was so funny because sailing techniques, tacking the sailing technique, sailing against the wind or oblique to the wind, tacking back and forth across, the wind. Europe would have never been able to discover the New World without Arabic sailing techniques. Arabs invented.
Yeah, I know. It was the Italians who originally brought the English to like North America. I know. Like, listen,
if you say so. So
it was a guy named Giovanni Caputo, right?
It took Portugal like 80 years or something to make it to the tip of Africa. Portugal.
Yeah.
There was and then the Spanish tacked on Madeira. If there is an island, if it's off the coast of Portugal, it's probably south and closer to Africa. And if you know where Portugal is, it's hop, skip, and a jump across Gibraltar to the continent of Africa.
Yeah. So all right. So anyway,
that's my
like
point.
what happened was they stood here and they didn't have any people. There was no one who lived there, right? So they couldn't just borrow or like get served from a noble or like hire people. So they went to Canary Islands and they just snatched black slaves and brought it over, right? And then they needed money, so they went to Venice, they went to Holland, right?
Okay.
They went to London, right? They went to other places to be able to go get money for the first time.
What's the name of the book? Can you let me know because I need to read this book.
It's George Monbiot, Monbiot, Monbiot.
Is he Portuguese?
No, I think he's French.
What's the name of the book?
Right.
I'll put it in the chat.
I think it's like The Origins of Liberalism.
Oh, okay.
I think it is something like that.
The origins of liberalism started with slavery?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, all right. Here's the thing. This started off in Madeira. They ended up. Okay. Hang on. Wait a minute. Let me finish my shit. All right. So they ended up standing here, having these slaves. They fucking cut down all the trees, right? Because it takes like 60 pounds of timber to make 1 pound of sugar, right? Process it out. And so they ended up like running through, and they got to the point where it was no longer efficient to be able to get trees. And by this time, the fucking Columbus had gone over to the New World, and Brazil had opened, and they sat here. They abandoned a bit at the top of
in 1450.
1450.
Okay, Columbus. This is 1492. Son. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I need. Okay, I know you're driving, so I'm not gonna.
We found the author, George Mondelbot. Yeah. Thank you, Reddington. No, let me say this before when he gets back. To bring it back to reset the topic in a sense, the daycare aspect. I want to ask Pill Eater. Do you see does Korea handle daycare or look at daycare the same as they do in the West?
No.
You see, no. How's it different?
No. I would say that. Well, I mean, if your son is only like 1.5 or 2 goes to, daycare, where in the West, those are kind of private sectors unless it's, the state pays for it, which is kind of getting a less and less. And the,
baby, listen.
requirements or what's that? I'm sorry, but no, maybe just a long story short, I guess
take your time.
There's more. Again, I don't mean to be biased here, but it seems like there's more activity to do in Korea for your children and more of purpose at a very, very young age compared to if you're delayed in kindergarten where you're beginning to speak. Like you're learning Korean by the time you're like 1.5 or 2 and doing excessive exercises and other things that I feel like in America we would be lazy and delay it until they're like 4 or 5.
I see that in Taiwan too. I see that in Taiwan. There's a lot of activities that my friends back home, they don't. When I tell them the stuff that we did with Ben and stuff, they're like, "Whoa, I wish we had that here." Or wish,
right,
type stuff. Yeah.
And things. And in America, you would probably have to pay for it, like
a lot of money.
Private college, like it's state school, and here it's offered by the government. So again, I guess there's more incentive to have children in Taiwan or South Korea if the government is literally paying you to do it, which sounds like 1950s America. And as much as that is shown in our faces, nobody's taking the initiative to do it. And I think, to rewind 30 minutes ago, it's kind of like how I was saying, you can't have conversations in the belly of the beast, so you have to leave. And I think we're pretty much all in that situation where if you're in Taiwan and I'm in Busan, and here we're talking about esoteric topics in English, that shows you something about more of ourselves and our society than us, say, being in the same room in New York City talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think that says about us? Like, rather than we speak about it here, rather than if we were in that room.
If we were in New York together, or like we had one city, one commune, we don't even have that. We're not even allowed to have that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go back to Neurojack. It's like, well, who's in New York City? Is it the Gramscian daycare people of the trust fund society that has to dictate a ruling elite and whatever deep state politics just to absurdly use the dog park in Lower Manhattan to pay $5,000 a month? It's kind of ridiculous, and for a small space, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All that to see a concert, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there was Stanley, like, I love their story about when you gave us that insight about like your avatar, about like what a big moment that was, and like in particular, like how your son was basically out competing, quote unquote, Asian Americans, right? A lot of the Asian Americans.
Oh no, that was half a joke.
Okay, well, you two tell it.
It was.
I like it.
No, it was. It was a. Y'all probably don't know who John Galt is.
I think they do. Some of them do.
I do.
Yeah.
It literally wound up. I tend to be, to put it bluntly, a liberalism person, but more a philosophical sort of, liberalism. So
I don't want to be
anyway,
mean. I don't want to be mean, but don't you? But can you see how liberalism could lead to slavery?
No, I don't. Liberalism doesn't lead; it lets you lead. So, and I can go through a whole history. Whoever brought up this crackpot, Anbiat, yeah, I know who he is. I've seen some YouTube videos. Dude, he's not a historian. I don't even know why you would ever think there's nothing about historian even in his Wikipedia, which I did look at. So it was just a pure joke. My son, and I talk about my son too much. However, he's at Georgia Tech, and the majority population of the student body is Asian. So I made a joke to John Galt about black people need to stop. Black people like him need to stop worshiping white people. Like the white standard in America is over. The Asians have a higher standard. They do better.
I'm talking pill eating.
They do better on testing. The income per capita is higher, et cetera, et cetera. So I just made a joke. Y'all keep telling me about how black people should be more like Asians. Well, my son is. I raised him to be an Asian standard. He's at an engineering school where Asians are the majority population. More Asians than white people.
Well, let me ask you a question.
My son is there. My son is there. So he met an Asian.
We got
standard.
you now. Hold on.
Yeah, it was a dumb joke. It was racist.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is authority?
I've heard worse than adults.
Is responsibility without authority?
Funny.
Is authority without responsibility slavery or not?
No, it's I don't even understand that question. It is so ridiculous.
Yeah, you're stuck under slavery.
Are kids slaves to their parents? Parents have authority over their kids. Are the kids the slaves of parents? Ridiculous question.
Do we wait? No, it's not. Do we under
liberalism?
It
is literally.
Okay. Are you going to let me speak, or are you just going to talk over?
Gabriel is the host and first time here. So
yeah, but you've interrupted people. I want to just get.
I will listen more than talk.
Okay, well, just let me. This point is very important. I'm not trying to be rude at all. I'm really not. I promise.
Take your time, Nero. Take your time. Take your time, bro. Like, yeah, you got this. We were all.
Well, I'm gonna forget my point. So yeah. I'm not mad at all.
No one's interrupting.
Sure. Yeah. So here's the thing. Are you sure that liberalism, as you understand it, does not give the illusion of authority along with the responsibility it gives us?
I'm absolutely sure.
And can you demonstrate that? How sure you are to me now?
Nope.
Fair enough.
And why not?
Now let me tell you how liberalism works.
So what you're saying is an assertion. What you're saying is an assertion.
Hold on,
when you're done, I'll answer.
Yeah, I'm just saying what you're saying is just an assertion, then, which is fine. I'm just pointing that out.
Well, let me finish my assertion, sir. I believe in liberalism so much. I'm going to let you stew in this weird thing about, is authority the people who are under authority slavery? Liberalism allows people to make their own beds. That might be the fundamental thing about my type of liberalism. As long as you're not making my bed, as long as you're not hurting me, you make your own bed. Think what you want to think. Raise your kids to be what you think they need to be, and I'll raise my kid to be the way I think he needs to be. And so far, I'm winning.
But here's what you said. You just said that we were forced via economics into a nation
I
state.
said nothing about economics.
What do you mean?
I literally
I'm pretty sure you
didn't talk about economics.
So, but didn't you say that what we call a nation and a nation state is different because economics is involved?
Did I say that?
I don't remember.
For economic reasons, yeah. Okay, so it's involved.
So sounds good.
Would you like me to tell you why I think that? It's because for places like England, in the United States, and Germany and France, the nation, the government, basically had to get involved with the economics to make, say, one of the reasons the United States compromised with the South, especially after the Compromise of 1850, is cotton was king. So, for as long as America could, there's money coming, big money coming into the country from the South selling cotton. The funny thing about Sven Becker calls it war capitalism, where places like Germany coagulated into a nation because it was more effective in colonization, economics, everyone being on the same page, making the economics, enriching the country, enriching the merchants, the capitalists, basically. Capitalism and nation states, nationhood, hand in hand. England was actually probably the best in, I think maybe Holland, but capitalism and nationhood, nation statehood, it's hand in hand. Colonialism, it was kind of like a booster rocket. You have different stages, and what comes out of it is actually where we are now. It's kind of fascinating.
And Jack, I feel like we gotta upgrade. We gotta trade. We got Stanley, aka Dominique Wilkins, for CM Mike Dunleavy.
What the? Whoa! Oh no! The CM
I give you a compliment, bro.
Entertaining.
The Mike Dunleavy. Say Terry Teagle.
Look, and let me tell you right now, I'm not a historian. I'm just a reader. So, you know, if
I didn't mean it super contentious. I just wanted to get the point across because I think that, like, I mean, personally, I would say that, as you said, these things that you characterize as booster rockets that led us to here. But like, if we're in a good place, then that kind of justifies slavery and all these things, colonialism that came, because where we're at would not be possible without them. See what I'm saying?
Well, that is an argument that I'd have to think through and discuss through. Where we are now is because of slavery. I know I'm not going to disagree, but boy, howdy, that's a whole show in and of itself.
Damn.
Because if you're going to make that argument, then who was picking the cotton for free, and why can't they be compensated? I can explain.
Well, they're not alive anymore.
Okay. Well, I think that's a bullshit argument, and let me tell you why. If you got a couple minutes, let's just give you slavery, because apparently that, I didn't own slaves, my family didn't, and you're not a slave. That is a weak argument. Let's talk about once slavery was fought over, and then we can go into, the Civil War wasn't specifically about slavery until the end, but that's a different show too. Explain Jim Crow. After slavery, after the 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, why was there Jim Crow? Jim Crow is where America owes reparations. I can give you off the top of my head a couple examples of where generational wealth in a Black family was lost. Jim Crow is specifically where reparations are in order.
If I find out that
and your daddy's daddy lived in Jim Crow America, try and slough that off with your bullshit.
Sure.
Well, my grandpa didn't live in Jim Crow America. Explain that one.
Sure. So what you're arguing for, I would say, is
okay. No. I'm not arguing. It is literally American history. I don't have to argue it.
Sure.
Read a book.
Well, here's what I'm saying is, like, if I find out that a guy, did a crime to my grandpappy, 100 years ago or something, right? Do I now have the right to go to his family and demand reparation?
Okay. Do you really think I'm that stupid? Jim Crow was law.
We got to
So
Lesnar.
wait.
I forgot about the beer. You want some? How about some ether?
What?
Never mind.
Hunter S. Thompson?
That's it. Yeah, aka Johnny Depp.
No,
What's up, Dennis?
dude, when the going gets tough, the weird turn pro.
That's right.
I'm a Hunter S. Thompson fan.
If anything's worth doing right.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
So repeat
He's
that
Kentucky.
argument.
He's a Kentucky boy.
Here's the deal.
Repeat that line. Repeat that line. Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Go ahead, Stanley.
When the going gets tough, the weird turn pro.
No. Before the drop. Before that.
Oh, my bad.
Bottom line is your great grandfather, grandfather. My parents grew up in Jim Crow, and you sound younger than I am. Jim Crow is where the generational wealth was literally stolen.
Great.
And I
okay,
can
so
give
great.
you.
So wait, I just want to make sure I understand your argument before we continue. You're saying that the people just
get to the point. You don't have to steal, man.
Stop interrupting me, and I will. Okay.
Oh, so, I interrupt when I get bored. Just make your point.
Okay, so your argument or what you're claiming is that anybody who lives under a government, hold on, anyone who lives under a government is now responsible for that government's
you've
actions.
lost me, dude. You're not going to argue your point correctly.
No.
If you live under a government, I literally said it was the law.
Right, but how
you're not going to argue your own point correctly? Come on now, you gotta love that, Jack.
Hold it. You brought up Dennison,
Stanley's going to tell you how you're going to argue your point. He'll tell you what your point is, Jack. Go ahead, listen.
Hey, Dennison, why don't you help your buddy out?
Who?
All right,
you? I'm trying to help you.
You want to interrupt me, X? How about you help your buddy Jack out?
I didn't mean to be rude, Stanley. But as you're proving right now, the only way to be on the panel with you and actually talk is to interrupt.
You bring out
no
the
offense
worst in me because you are largely a sponge.
Can we?
I need to do is
true.
I need to wring the thoughts out of you. Do not interrupt me, son. You know how much
that's not going to happen. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. You're not the boss of me. This is Gabe's panel. I'll follow his instruction. And honestly, I wouldn't. I've already learned better than to share my thoughts with you, Stanley. You're obtuse, and there's no point to it.
Let your little friend finish his little soliloquy, and then I'm going to come back to you.
Well, can you let him finish? Let's see if you can let him finish without interrupting him and telling him what his point is while he's talking.
No. You don't get to tell me what to do. You said you're going to do what you want to do.
I asked. It was a form of a question. Do you know what an interrogative is? It's when you put that little curly thing at the end, and then you change the tone of your voice. You raise it at the end to imply that it's a question, as if to say, Stanley, can you let him finish? Can you let him make his point? Yeah, I agree with you. It's up in the air. There's no telling with you.
Stop talking and let him finish.
We got about 10 minutes. I had a date with my beautiful other half. Go ahead, Nero. You're landing your plane. I got to go to the bathroom. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Nero, Jack, Stanley, Dennison, Pill Eater.
Well, I said what I said.
I think Nero tapped out.
All I need folks to do is explain Jim Crow.
What's up, Willa?
That's where the damage was done.
Oh wow, he left. Oh my gosh.
This machine still here?
The machine's still here, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
No, I guess not.
And I promise, Gabriel, I will never do this again.
What do you mean? I hope you come back. You just won't go. You mean this style? What?
Hey,
you will never
know your shit. You either know your shit or you don't.
Yeah. I think you have a capital. Even though you're new here, I don't know. Maybe it's what I listened to you a lot lately. I'm like, I just let Stanley speak, even though normally I would say respectfully, maybe you could say so with a little bit more of grace or whatever in terms of like when you're bored. But hey, man, I'm not. I do what you do because you know you. Yeah.
That's impressive.
I hear other people talk, and I'm like, I can sense when they don't know. They're a little nervous in their argument.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I like how the fact
anymore, but
no, we can hear you, Bill. Either
maybe if Machine's hearing. Just to digress, I was before I have to go. I was going to ask Machine if he was aware of Jeff Mills.
I'm not.
Who was that, Pill Eater? He said he's not. I don't know if you heard him. Can you expand on him? Let us know a little bit about him. Jess Mills. That's it. Yeah. Well, we're gone. We're doing tap out tag team. Nero's back. Hey, Dennison, I love how you were compelled. What was the catalyst to get you on here? I wish you would have came earlier.
Just unfortunately, I was wasting my time on another panel that wasn't interested in having a conversation, and by the time I closed that out, I saw you were live. Yeah, I wish you had hit me up because
from the beginning.
Yeah, because I definitely would have picked this spot over that in a heartbeat. Yeah, and I just came up because like these are some of my favorite panelists up here.
Yeah.
This is what I come to YouTube for. The kind of conversations that you and I have, that TML has, and that Neurojack. I appreciate his thoughts as well. I always have. And I heard Stanley cooking about reparations. I actually probably agree with him on reparations. So I thought it would be an interesting dynamic.
Well, you actually missed my point about reparations.
I did, sir. I didn't hear it. You're correct.
I agree with him on reparations too. If somebody did something wrong to somebody anytime in the past, I can go and assault and do whatever I want to the family members with the government to get what I want out of them.
Let me help you. Let me help you out. I'm not hard coded for reparations. I think the harm is done.
Yeah, I was gonna say I might not agree with the
You're trying to justify it, so obviously.
And that's what I might not agree with is the justification.
See, this is what this little child doesn't understand. Sometimes the justification doesn't necessarily require reparation. Reparations are literally owed. But what if I just go, hey, you know what? It's okay.
How can you owe reparations to somebody?
Right, that's where I'm at, Stanley.
I know you're over eager. I know you're over.
I'm surprised how similar Stanley and I are on this.
Hold on. How can you owe reparations for the actions of a government? Number one, and number two, to somebody that doesn't exist anymore. How is that possible? Explain that.
Okay, what I need you to, are you talking slavery or Jim Crow, sir?
Whatever you're talking about.
Okay, that's okay. I'm not gonna bite on that stupid shit. Whatever.
I mean, you're clearly
you have
no something.
So. You have no clue what I'm talking about, really?
Well, you're saying that somebody that is related to people that lived under a government 200 years ago owes reparations for what happened 200 years ago.
Say again, Stanley.
Look, Dennison, I'm glad we agree on that one point. How do you?
So you're going to run away from the. You're going to run away.
I literally want to come back to you.
A grown-ass man is going to run away.
Dennison and I have known each other for a bit.
Running away.
May I give him some respect?
Run away.
Goddamn, dude, I'm not running away.
A grown-ass man running away from the topic. You are because you're not sticking to the topic. You made the claim and you don't want to stick to it.
Yeah, okay.
Because you don't believe in it. You just want to spout whatever nonsense.
I can't believe I'm going to stand up for Stanley here. But
you didn't even understand.
Jack, Stanley does not run away. The reason why he disengaged with you is because he was asking you what you were referring to, whether you wanted to talk specifically about slavery or Jim Crow.
All right. Well, then Dennison, respectfully, please just stay out of the conversation. Let him defend himself, because I want to hear his argument of how. Oh wait, I want to hear his argument.
Well, let me help you
anybody
out.
alive today is responsible for the actions of a government.
If you will
200 years ago.
recall,
Explain that to me.
before you got all hot and bothered,
why are you doing a diatribe rather than just
God, I was making a joke, son. I'm making a joke. Trying to lighten the mood a bit.
Because it's all just a
May
joke.
I lighten the mood a bit? May I lighten the mood?
You don't actually care about the things you talk about. It's just fun, right?
I actually care deeply about the things I talk about. So
prove it by sticking to the subject matter rather than making a joke.
What's the subject matter? Remind me. Do you know what the subject matter is?
Yeah, you said that somebody who lived under government, a long time ago, who none of which are alive today, are responsible for the actions of that government.
Now, did I basically just say slavery? Let's just take it on the chin. Did I not make that kind of move? It's a chess move.
What?
Okay, so here's where I'm gonna go. I literally said Jim Crow was the biggest problem because it robbed black Americans of generational wealth and political power, by the way. Post 1877 compromise of
right. I understand that part. What I don't understand is how anybody alive today owes reparations.
All you need to do is go skip ahead. I understand. So Jim Crow lasted until which year, sir?
Look, more
Jim
facts.
Crow
Wait. You need to justify your premise. You need to justify your premise. You need to justify your premise. You don't need more facts.
When did Jim Crow end?
It's irrelevant because the people are alive today or not.
Yes, they're alive today. You're getting close to my point. When did Jim Crow end, though, sir?
It's irrelevant.
Any idea?
It's irrelevant because
listen, Jack. You can't say it's irrelevant and then at the same time, you can't say it's irrelevant and then at the same time say that those people aren't alive today.
Because
you're making it relevant with your own argument.
Well, the problem. I just need you Google it. I'll give you time to Google.
Why are you playing a semantics game rather than just
because I know I'm going to destroy.
I think I just pointed it out, Jack. Like you're saying, your argument is that the people aren't alive today.
Rather than edge me, why don't you just destroy me rather than edge me on? Let's go.
Okay, I want to I want to get maximum pleasure. You remember that Montessori thing?
That is diabolical.
Children should pursue. I want maximum happiness.
We are
maybe
better than you niggas.
Be sadistic.
Period.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
Okay, well, if you don't want to play, that's fine. 1964, technically. And you go, it might be rhetorical, but I kind of agree with the point. My father lived deep in South Georgia in Jim Crow. There is wealth that is very measurable. Go back, look up Bruce's Beach, Manhattan Beach, California. Resort property, black owned, taken away by eminent domain.
Okay,
they just
so
wait. No. I need to finish the story. I need to finish the story,
you don't.
please.
Who owes your father money? Who owes your father money? Who owes your father money? Who owes your father money?
Literally, this was like
I can't hear the host.
1920 something. This property was taken away.
Who owes your father money?
Oh, dude, I literally cannot finish my story because this child knows I'm going to win.
Hey, Neurojack, I got a couple of minutes in Stanley. Oh, actually, we're on ascended time, soccer style. So, like,
Okay,
Stanley,
well,
can you finish your story?
in
And then
California,
Neurojack, you can say what
I
you
will
need to
finish
say.
it. The basically the end of this Bruce's Beach story. A few years ago, California paid the Bruce family $20 million in reparations. But my point, where they paid the family $20 million and rented the property back so there's income. My point is it was taken in 1920 something. Who knows how many millions of dollars of generational wealth between 1920 and let's just say it was 2020, might have been a little later than that. How much generational wealth was lost in those years? That is Jim Crow. That's why there's reparations owed.
Okay,
Because
my question
nobody
is
was
very
James.
simple. Who alive today should pay for those things that happened?
Motherfucker, I'm alive. I was born in 1965. My father, Jim Crow, South Georgia. There are plenty of people alive who happen to be black and white, by the way, who lived during the Jim Crow era. Thank you.
So who should pay for the reparations?
The American government.
So they have to get that money from.
Listen to what? Did you not hear what I?
Are you not going to let me speak?
Because
How
you're
are
an
they going to get the money
idiot
to pay
and you
that?
don't listen. You don't
How are
listen.
they going to get the money to pay that?
Denizen, I literally said to you, sir, that we might just have to take it on the chin and do the best we can. Now there here and there things that might kind of, but there's not enough money that the US could generate to pay reparations that way, even in a Jim Crow, even in the Jim Crow era.
All right. With that said, I appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. We can.
You gotta go to work, huh?
Nah, the real work, a life of a husband. I'm off today, actually. Oh man, you can't
extend it a little bit.
Dude,
cause family problems.
I already told her I was gonna be.
All right.
You can't do it.
Can I?
I appreciate the conversation, though. I do, and hopefully no hard feelings from me to you. So I appreciate it.
Can I respond to Wasama 2 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm full
What's
of
the matter, you?
condescension. I am way full of condescension for people I don't think that are up to the task. So don't debate me if you're not up to the task. Sir, thanks for noticing.
My answer was going to be all of us. Like we all pay, just like we have before, with the Native Americans and the Japanese. And
dude, wait, hold it. That's absolutely right, dude. I don't even think American slavery was as bad as Caribbean slavery. Holy cow!
Yeah. Yes.
And,
yeah. Some of that stuff,
and it only helps all of us.
Over there,
like, sorry, go ahead.
Not to say some of the stuff that Howard Zinn wrote about in People's History about when Columbus and them were going on those islands. That shit was diabolical too. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
I'm just glad that Dennison and I look. I think we probably do sometimes agree on some things.
Stanley, I thought that we would agree on reparations, but not on how to get there. And we even agree on how to get there. That's what surprised me.
I don't think you can.
Hey, Nero, thanks for coming by, bro. I'm glad you guys got you saw all that. You Dennison. Wow, that was a shock, but not a shock. And shout out to Ben for getting the silver medal yesterday. Let's see.
Oh shit!
Oh my lord! Oh,
holy shit!
Go, bro.
Salute.
In the judo, a lot of kids.
How many people?
I think there was maybe at least 50 or something.
Wow, bro.
Yeah,
Was
so he
he
did good.
8?
He's 8. Yeah, he's in second grade. It's kind of cool. It was literally he represented his school. He didn't have to go to school yesterday. Instead of having like a basketball team or a swim team, his school they have a judo team. Public school.
Dude, let me say something, motherfucker. You better enjoy. This is the best time.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
It's good
This
stuff,
is
huh?
the best time of
Second
your
place
life.
out of 50?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah. He does
Right?
he almost as good as his triathlon. Like he did last year. He got second out of 120 in his age thing. So yeah, he's good. He's a good little
someone you have got to see.
You told me about that guy. I need to see his stuff.
Aramiose Frimpong.
Sweep the leg, Ben. Sweep the leg.
God.
Yeah, that's what it was. The judo, you got it. That's why he would have got first if he would have been mindful of that. The other guy got him on that. Yeah.
Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. By the way, Neurojack, I appreciate you coming by, bro. Yeah, man. It's a good life, man. And this is like, I mean, I'll be totally transparent. Of course, the number one priority is to talk to my friends, but it is. Hopefully, someday he will listen to this.
No.
Listen. No. I want him to listen to this stuff. You say no? You know what, dude? You wouldn't want your son to hear you?
No. I thought you meant your priority is talk to his friends.
No. I'm talking about your friends. No. I'm saying no. I'm talking about in terms of this channel. Like I always said, like it was for him if he wants to look as a journal when he gets older. He can say, "Hey, this is some of the conversations." But no, he's the top priority. He's a prototype for sure. But I'm saying, like,
you'll get your time.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get my time. But yeah, man. So shout out to Ben and them. I appreciate you guys, man. I think we're on a good direction. And on this channel,
I am so glad I came up, Dennison.
Me too.
Much respect.
Yeah, all y'all, man. Dennison, Machine, Pill Eater, Neurojack, and by the way, everyone sub to this channel. Wait, there's a new one. Oh, I got you in 1 second, Dennison. So, like our new channel, Mantra 93, with myself and Shadow Buddha, we'll be having our first episode on mindfulness in the body, and we're gonna do our presentation. It's gonna be fire, and then we'll have discussion about the topic over here on that channel at Mantra 93 and Dennison. Yeah, man. Quality people brings quality topics, and you're definitely an example of that. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it coming from you. It means something, and hopefully, Stanley, we can run into each other again sometime soon and have a conversation. It's been a while.
Absolutely. Well, shit. Yeah, I got a channel. You got a channel.
If you my streaming rig,
I'm still subscribed to your channel.
Yeah,
my streaming rig is in pieces. If you want to go live right now, I'd love the opportunity to hop over.
No
Maybe
way.
TML can join us even.
No way.
He said no
It's
way.
12 o'clock. You know what? If you want, I can do it.
Oh shit! There you go.
And hell, I got some beer, as you can tell. What the fuck? No, Dennison. Let's chill.
I'd love to, but not if you're not in the mood. If you want to wait till some other time,
No. Look, I literally have no mission. It'll work for me.
Hey, Dennison, I get this. Stanley feels.
It won't be a long
on the screen,
but because I am old. But no, dude, I haven't talked to you substantively for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I might have to listen when I go to the dog
let me
park.
do this. Give me
conversation.
1 sec here.
Yeah, get us up before we leave. That way we can direct people over. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna create a pop-up, and then I'll have to just give me 2 secs here.
Yeah. Drop the link in the back, Stanley.
I will.
Matter of fact, I'll make you a mod. You can do it yourself. Or I'll do it or whatever. That's kind of rude to ask my guest to do that. But,
I don't care. Let me just do this. Let me create, because it's the only way I know how to do it. So I create the StreamYard, go back, and I will put the YouTube thing and then make it look nice afterwards.
See, Denson, you're nice about asking to extend the show, not like Hurricane Perro is just like chastising me.
Oh,
for ending the show yesterday. The other
Interesting.
day, yeah.
Well, there's certain hard cutoffs, right? Like, and date night is, that's
Absolutely.
that's up there,
Especially when she was gone. Remember I told you it was a bachelor's weekend?
right?
So yeah. So you got to get this.
And one of these days you have to tell me about living over in you were in South Korea, right?
Taiwan. Pill eaters in South Korea. I'm in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm in Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to have a
Do-
conversation on that.
You should do that. We can do it on your show. We can
Yeah.
simulcast. I would love to know, because
That'd be fun.
You are the new Anthony Bourdain.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a big that's a big I think my wife and I combined are, because she's that's her profession, the chef, and I'm the Hunter S.
Really?
Thompson, the writer.
Oh, wow.
That's Bourdain, right?
Oh, dude.
Hunter S. Thompson meets
This is
Julia
so
Child.
funny. This is so funny you mentioned Hunter S. Thompson. Dude, I've been reading Hunter S. Thompson since I was in high school.
Since high school. Wow, damn.
I've read his novel.
I'm looking at his first one right here, The Rum Diary, when he was the
Rum Diaries,
sports correspondent in Cuba.
Yep. From Louisville, Kentucky. Yep.
That's it, Louisville, Kentucky. Triple Scorpio. I got then I got the Hell's Angels.
Dummy.
Yeah, you got it. You know what's up. I love Hunter S. Thompson, bro. Especially Johnny Depp's portrayal. Bill Murray was okay.
You know what? I literally have a copy of The Curse of is it The Curse of Lono?
Lono.
It's the one. It's the art book. Ralph Steadman. It's half art. It's half writing. Yeah, I'm kind of older now, so I'm not quite, that much into it. Ralph Steadman, by the way, there's something I read. He's got some art or something that's in the news lately. I'd have to look it up.
Really?
But,
Okay.
Damn, y'all know who Hunter S. Thompson is?
Stanley.
Wow.
Yeah, of course. Stanley, you must love then like a Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail. 1972 Democratic McGovern.
Of course, I've read the book.
Yep. Yeah, I had to really search for that one. That one was harder to find, but I have the paperback of that one. Yeah, I love that man. Hunter.
I remember
I didn't get it at
getting
first.
Fear. What was the one? The Nixon campaign, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Dude, I bought that at a Walden bookstore in Savannah, Georgia, at the Oglethorpe Mall. I can literally remember buying the book.
Now, if you want to get a supplement, Stanley, you got to get Where the Buffalo. Revolution of the Cockroach People. It's Oscar Zeta Acosta. He was the Dr. Gonzo, the Mexican attorney. He wrote 2 books before he went missing. They're really good too. Really good.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because he was Cesar Chavez's lawyer. Before I know Cesar Chavez is in the news lately, but some bad stuff. But like he was out of the Bay Area, and he has a lot of interesting adventures and stories as a lawyer in the Bay Area in the 70s. So yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. So you have the link, Stanley?
Put it in the back. That is the YouTube
got it.
link.
I'll put it in our chat.
I'll be on in like 5 or 10 minutes. Dennison, please come over. Let's chat. It won't be a long stream, but shit, who knows? I have no agenda.
Hit that up, and everyone on this panel, you're in my intro outro. Just so you know, I don't know if you've seen it. My new one I made. I pay homage to y'all because it's I get to take a village to make this channel at the moment. So I want to give you guys, your due, right? So I appreciate you. Machine Lines, do you have a stream coming up? Is it Friday or Thursday?
No, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll be going over tons of topics. The thoughts of Henryk Skolimowski, right, the Polish philosopher, right? We'll be looking at Nick Bostrom, his history of transhumanism, right? The ideas of Rene Guénon, the crisis of the modern world. And then we'll go to Mumford and Ellul, right, which we've been going over several works by Mumford and Ellul that touch on the modern technological system. So,
awesome.
So that's what we'll be discussing. So come check it out if you guys get a chance. Blessings.
Thank you, Machine. And when my wife and I are going to go take these buggers to the park right now. And in the meantime, in between time, appreciate y'all. That's left to right. That's Trinity, 10 years old, Junior, 5 years old, and Dream, the newest member.
Oh, the Brindle. Nice.
Yeah. All rescues, these guys.
Oh, That's the only way to do it. Salute to you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think my wife rescued me. I appreciate you guys. I love you, and I'll see you later. Peace. This has been Daycare, the live stream parallel. Shout out to you, Ben. I love you, bro. Love you, chat.
What in the chamber, I bang. This all out, you don't got no shame. Who should I give my love? Where should I leave this pain? 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. What did eyes already owe? 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. She wanna be like me, I wanna be like her. If anyone touch my baby, I'm taking that boy off the earth. Yeah, wiping that boy off the surface. Yeah, spitting on top of his hearse. You think that he in his bad, boy, I turn your skin to a purse. Yeah, turn his ass into a Birkin. Selling it like it's my merch. Got him writing his name in cursive. We putting that boy in verse. We fucking around like nurses. Flying around like birds. Snap it up, do what they do. If your boys are cursed. What in the chamber, I bang. This all out, you don't got no shame. Who should I give my love? Where should I leave this pain? 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. What did eyes already owe? 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 2. Stand on the top like you. Whatever I say they do. And I've been on both sides. I was down there too. They had shit to lose, and I was praying I do. I was praying I would one day. I was praying I do. Breathe and take it all in, Yeah, come alive for the city of God, the city to sin. When my peace got lost in tears, I cried, they rolled off of my skin. If they catch me right now, they got no cage to put me in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Touch me like Alonso. Whoa, 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 whoa. So far, too far gone.